What's up, Dream Warriors? Welcome back to another episode of a podcast on Elm Street. I'm Mark.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is take number 3 of this intro, so I hope I can knock it out of the park one more time. Happy to have you back, Brooke. It's been 3 weeks since we've recorded together.
Yes, sir.
You took a nice little vacation to the western side of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We pre-recorded a couple episodes. I had a guest host on last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, with Erica from the Horror Cafe. And upon your return, we have decided to do one of our biggest months ever. It's a long overdue. Do we say genre? I don't want to say genre, but like a long overdue series of episodes, we'll say. We're kicking off September. We're calling it Screamin September. So this is going to be an entire month-long franchise watch of Scream, as well as discussions with each movie, obviously. We're going to be joined by a couple of guests through it this month. Kicking it off with Scream 1, we have Josh from the Horror Movie Crew podcast joining us tonight. Josh, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me again. Every time you do these intros, they get better. I've got to say.
I don't know about that. That first one, you missed it, but it was good.
Damn it, man. This is all my fault. Everybody, your viewers should know it's all my fault that we keep having to start over.
Our viewers should also know that you hate admitting when you make a mistake or whenever you're wrong. So this is huge.
Wow. Dude. Wow. Who have you been talking to?
Known you long enough. We know your little quirks.
It's not that I hate admitting it. It's the fact that I'm like such a control freak and such a planner that when it actually happens, I'm like, I know that I failed somewhere in my preparation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes. So it's not that I hate admitting I made the mistake. It's the fact that I made the mistake that upsets me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just hate making mistakes.
I really do. It drives me absolutely asinine.
All right. For any of our listeners that don't know who you guys are, you've been on this podcast numerous times. So if there's anybody listening that's maybe new or that has somehow missed any of your past episodes with us, do you want to go ahead and plug your podcast for them?
Yeah, sure. And I think this is like my 12th time being on here.
At
we've
least.
done like swap episodes, like wife swap episodes where we all stick together and swap wife, where we release episodes on each other's platforms, which is fun. But yeah, so I'm 1/3 of the Horror Movie Crew podcast. Jess and Seth are the other 2. We release an episode every week, sometimes 2 times a week. We discuss a movie. Sometimes we just get together and have cocktails. So the HMC is kind of in a weird place right now because it's kind of evolving. From what it was. So honestly, this is probably a good time to just kind of throw that out there that, HMC, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, is slowly transitioning into HMC Studios, which will be the Horror Movie Crew podcast. There's going to be a bunch of other types of content that are going to be released through HMC Studios. Most of it will probably be me and joined by other people and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where we're in this weird evolution of where the HMC's future is going from just being a horror movie podcast.
Sweet. We've been let in on some of this stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for what you guys are coming up with and what you're coming up with and with this whole HMC Studios thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it will. Plus it's the other like maybe I'm pulling back the curtain too much is that obviously there's 3 of us. And we record in person, and it's just hard to schedule all that while releasing episodes every single month. So we've gotten to the point where we're recording almost a month ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really allow us the flexibility we used to have to, like, let's say one of us goes and sees a new movie or the trailer drops. Like it could be a month and a half before our listeners get to hear us talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So this allows us to be more flexible, I think.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's tough scheduling 3 people. I mean, we've done some roundtables before, and anything over 2 is a lot harder to schedule than what people may think sometimes.
It is. And then you add in the whole logistical aspect of us recording in person. It kind of, because we could have 20, 30, however many minute commute just to record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for you.
except for me because I was smart and I built a studio in my house. So as you can see here, I am in the studio, which is a part of my house. But did you guys just see me douse my cell phone with Miller Lite?
No.
It came out.
I
of
saw
my
you
mouth.
shaking your phone, but
Yeah, it came out of my mouth and went on my phone. It was exciting, and all over all my rating scores here. So we'll see when we get to that.
well, that's perfect. We know what you're going to rate it anyways. So, like I said in our second attempt at the intro, we come to you with anything Scream or Rob Zombie or anything like that. You're our resident expert on those two themes, I guess we could say.
I think that's all people think I know how to talk about, which is fine because I really enjoy talking about it. But usually if there's a Scream episode in our little circle of friends or a Rob Zombie episode, which I can't wait till the Monsters comes out because I know all you fucks are going to shit all over it. And I'm going to be standing there with my Rob Zombie flag just waving it.
I saw the release in the Blu-ray DVD at the same time as the Netflix drop.
Yeah. So Seth and I kind of had a bit of a disagreement on that because he was like, that's so stupid. Why do they even release DVDs and Blu-rays anymore?
Are you kidding?
So I proceeded to show him all of my Blu-rays that I have that are unopened because I buy them and don't open them. Yeah, there you go. But I'm lazy. I just stream it anyway. So I'm going to stream it, but I want to have the hard copy. What happens when the world ends and I want to show my kids Rob Zombie movies and I have to find a DVD player?
There you go.
Yeah. I just got my second Psycho Gorman Blu-ray.
It's so sick though. Like you had to get that.
Yeah.
You had to.
Actually,
You had to.
it's right here, actually.
Yeah. Look at he's got it right on display.
Oh, nice, dude.
Like
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it sealed, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you already have like a copy that you have open, so I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I just ordered the one with the Pride like theme slipcover, like Pride Month theme. I'm excited to get that one in the mail.
For Psycho Gorman?
Yeah.
Dude, I was surprised at how much I liked that movie. I think you guys were surprised that I liked that movie.
Probably.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know, because you're a hard critic sometimes.
I mean, you do seem like the type of guy that liked and watched Power Rangers as a kid.
Yeah,
You think?
Yeah. Am I wrong?
No, I love Power Rangers.
There
you go.
Loved it. And I love the video game. The Power Rangers video game. That was fun. My kids are into Power. Well, Charlotte is sort of into Power Rangers right now. She was really into it and then like got out of it. But it was some whack ass Power Rangers, dude. It was like new Power Rangers. I'm like, what is this shit? Like bring back the Red Ranger Jason.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I miss the good old days, Power Rangers.
Sorry, I just hijacked the whole episode.
No, it's fine. I guess. Well, before we hop into this movie discussion, I guess we'll talk about what we've been watching.
Yeah.
And 1 second. There we go. Brooke, I did have that setting changed, but then we've had to restart this so many times that I forgot to on the third time.
Jeez.
Very nice.
That's
So
on me.
Go
That's on me.
first.
Yeah, sure, if you want.
Okay. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on. So let's see. August 10th. So
Jesus.
I'm not gonna go through every single one because there's like 35 of them. I watched Incantation, a new horror movie that's on Netflix this year. It's kind of like a found footage foreign film.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, actually. It was really scary. I watched it in the daytime as well, so I can imagine what it's like at nighttime. Very different. The child performance in it is really good, I think. Mark, I think you watched it too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I watched Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire, just so I can kind of finish that collection off. Wasn't that great. Josh, have you seen any of those movies?
I haven't, but I was getting ready to ask you your thought on it because it was actually thrown out to us to possibly do that franchise at the cabin next year, but I have not seen any of them.
First one's amazing.
First one's really good. Second one, it's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Third one is
a 1.5 star.
Yeah. It's not great, but it kind of like ties everything together.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched Bullet Train before I left. I fucking loved it. I had such a good time at the theaters. It's not like a great movie. Like there's just so many cameos and stuff. It's just like a theater movie. I liked it a lot. Yeah, Brad Pitt was good, but my favorite was Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. Him and his brother play like twins.
Nice.
It's good.
Who's his brother?
I forget his name.
He's not like a big name actor.
No, he's been in a few things.
I think his name's Darren.
Might be.
Darren Taylor.
Darren Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. Brian Tyree Henry.
Well, that's not anywhere close to what I thought. What is it? Brian Tyree Henry?
You never heard of him?
I don't think so.
You've definitely known him. He was on the new Child's Play movie.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see if I can find a picture.
That's quite the fucking handle, though.
You should Google him and put on your window there and pull him up.
Okay. Yeah, I do recognize him.
Yeah.
That is Aaron Taylor Johnson's brother?
Tread lightly, Josh.
That's like the joke in the movie that they're twins, but they're
Okay.
like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant his actual brother.
No.
Oh, I thought you did too.
No. Yeah. I watched Cop Shop for the first time. My coworker loved it, and I just thought it was all right.
What is that one? I've never heard of that one.
It has our boy from the Purge movies. What's his name? From the
Ethan
first
Hawke?
one.
No.
No, he was only in one movie.
I know.
That's
Anyway.
Gerard Butler?
Yeah,
I was just going to
Butler's
say
in
that.
it.
Yeah.
Why does he look so...
He looks
Yeah.
like Gerard Butler if he became a WWE wrestler.
Dude. He looks like he fell off the wagon, dog.
Yeah.
And it ran over him.
Yeah. I watched Warrior on the plane ride, and I cried on the plane, so that was
Nice.
fun.
It's a great movie, dude.
It is, yeah.
Tom Hardy is so good in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
So good, man. Fucking Nick Nolte, man, kills me.
Mm.
I watched Day Shift. I actually really liked it. It kind of got shit on, but I think that Dave Franco and Jamie Foxx did a really good job.
Mhm.
Could have done without Snoop Dogg.
Come on.
Yeah. I'll skip all those. Watch Nightmare Alley. I really liked it. Kind of like I told Mark, it kind of reminds me of The Prestige, kind of a magic deception movie. Kind of takes place in the 1940s.
Nice.
Would you classify it as a horror movie? I've heard people say yes and no.
No, I wouldn't say it's a horror movie. No, it's kind of fantastical. It's Guillermo del Toro, so it has horror themes in it, but I wouldn't say it's horror at all.
It's more like a fantasy movie. No.
Kind of, not really. No. Yeah. Let's see.
Pig, didn't you watch that last year too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I watched The Wedding Singer for the first time.
First
Don't ask
time?
me- yeah. Don't ask me why or how.
Oh, dude, it's
It
great.
is- Never got around to it, I guess.
Goodness.
I prefer 50 First Dates to this one for the Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore kind of.
Oh, that's a hot take, dude.
I think because 50 First Dates, it's so nostalgic for me. I used to watch that movie so much as a teenager.
That's fair.
Yeah. I watched Watcher, movie on Shudder, and fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
So good. I think it's at number 9 right now for top movies of the year. That's not just horror,
Yeah.
new movies. Highly recommend it. Super creepy. And then I watched a movie called Glorious. It's on Shudder, and it is dog shit. I I don't recommend it. It has J.K. Simmons in it, and I don't know, man. It's weird and terrible.
Just his voice, though.
Yeah, just his voice. Watched Bodies in the theater when I got back because I'd used my free movie pass, and I really liked it. acting was really good. Pete Davidson was hilarious. What's his name? The other guy in it, Lee Pace, I think. He was really funny in it. I like how they brought like the like Gen Z stuff to this movie. I thought they did it really well because like as you find a lot of stuff like super annoying and stuff, but I thought
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
they did a good job. Yeah, exactly. And
oh my god, man!
What?
You've scrolled up this page about 5 times now.
I know. I rewatched Terminator and Terminator 2, and my god, these movies still hold up.
Yeah, they do.
So fucking good. But yeah, that's it.
Sweet.
You have probably watched more movies right there than I've watched all year.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He's a movie connoisseur.
I was on a 2-week vacation, okay?
That's fucking wild, dude.
Instead of traveling the mountains, he watched movies.
I'm glad that damn movie competition's over because you guys would be roasting me this year. Dude.
Yeah,
we ruined you last year.
You did. I told Abby that the other day. I was like, what do you want to do? I was like, let's sit down and play cards or something because I don't want to sit and watch a movie. And I was like, that fucking movie competition last year destroyed me.
Yeah. I think the only reason I'm watching so many is because I unlocked the stats page on Letterboxd.
Seriously.
So we get all these fucking, yeah.
It turns it into a fucking addiction, man. Like, it's brutal.
That was me last year, dude. Like, I was like watching movies out the ass to beat you guys.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
You could actually show him, Mark, the fucking what it looks like too.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, because you don't have it now, eh, Josh?
No, I got on the other day to see when the last time I logged a movie was, and it was ridiculously long ago.
Yeah, so once that goes away, there we go. So you can go here. So it gives you your all-time stats. Does this, which is like your top 20 movies of the year.
That's cool.
Highest rated by decades. That's a featured list that I had up there. So it like showcases that, shows you the movies from like different genres, different countries, different languages. And then you come down here, and this is where the fucking real shit kicker is. It's all of these lists: the Letterboxd top 250, IMDb top 250, top 250 horror movies. Like, and you just get looking through there, and it just becomes a fucking savage addiction trying to fill these things up.
Yeah.
I tell you don't like movies directed by women. Wow.
No. Fuck those, man.
Holy cow, dude.
There is actually a bunch on here that I need to watch.
Well,
but yeah. So anyways,
that's wild, dude. I don't do any of that.
If you ever do get back on there,
I need to. I'd like to. I should at least log the movies we do up for the podcast, right?
Yeah.
I should.
All right. So for my watches, I'll go through it quick. But since our last episode was The Lodge, I also watched Day Shift. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I agree with Brooke. Dave Franco and Jamie Foxx were amazing together. Seriously, if you take Dave Franco out of it, it's not nearly as good of a movie, I don't think.
No.
He killed it. I watched My Own Private Idaho, which is a Keanu movie, so that's going towards my Keanu playlist. It was good.
Never even heard of it.
Me either, until I was going through all his movies. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It was slow and kind of boring, but it was a well-made movie. I watched Samaritan, which is Sylvester Stallone's new movie that just came out this year.
I saw that. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. It was like Rambo mixed with like Superman in a sense, if I could put like if you think about those two put together. It was a fun enough watch, though. It wasn't great, but it was fun. I watched one of Brooke's favorite movies of the year, Moonfall. That threw me for a fucking loop. Absolutely did not expect what I watched with that movie. If you're going in thinking it's just a typical disaster movie, you are going to be wrong, because that's not what it is. I also watched Watcher, really enjoyed it as well. Brooke, you already talked about it though. Then I watched The Iron Giant and Mulan for the top 100 animated movies or top 250 animated movies. Also watched Incantation. I didn't like it as much as you did, but I did enjoy it. It was good. I watched Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. Don't recommend that.
Wow, 2?
Because it fucking sucked, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a anime Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I didn't like it at all.
Interesting.
They kind of changed the whole story and everything, and I don't like whenever they do that to timeless classics like the Ninja Turtles. I watched Carrie for the top 250 horror movies. You guys shit on that movie, didn't you guys? HMC?
We've never done it.
I thought you guys did that. Oh no, that was Christine.
Yeah, we did shit on that fucking movie.
Yeah, you did.
fucking weirdo. It's terrible, dog. That was a terrible movie, dude. You should go listen to it, though. I don't remember which HMC episode it was, but it was a good listen.
I listened to it, but
thank you.
We watched Minions: The Rise of Gru last night. It was fun.
Is it streaming now?
No.
Oh, okay. But yes, in the Sharbach household.
Yeah. Well, Brady really wanted to watch it, so I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But I rented another movie last night. What did I rent for him to watch? Because it was the last night before they were going back to school. So we were like, we're just gonna have a movie night and chill. But yeah. And then I finished Elvis tonight before we recorded.
Nice.
I really liked it. It reminded me a lot of like Walk the Line. I don't want to say they had a similar story, but like with the addiction and all that shit, like it felt like it was a more elaborate version of Walk the Line. But it was really good. It was, I'd say it's about a half an hour too long. It runs out like long, yeah. It runs out like 2.5 hours or something like that. But it was really good. I can't remember the actor's name, but he fucking killed it as Elvis.
Yeah, Austin Butler.
Yeah, that's it. He did such a good job. But yeah, other than that, that's it. Started watching The Bear, which is a TV show on Disney Plus.
Oh man, I've been recommended that so much. Like I think we're gonna start it.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. Lip from Shameless is in it. And obviously we've been watching House of the Dragon and Rings of Power and Stranger Things. We're still trying to get through that.
You haven't finished Stranger Things?
No, man. And somehow it has not been spoiled for me.
Yeah, I had the last episode to watch still. It's been like 4 weeks, and I think I know one thing that's spoiled for me. I'm not going to say anything, but I think one thing spoiled for me, but it is what it is.
Wow, dude, I can't believe you haven't finished it. You know what? This is one good thing about Abby and I having COVID is that it forced me to sit down and watch TV.
That's fair.
And we watched all of Stranger Things. We watched all of Reacher, and then some other stuff I would have never watched had I not had COVID and couldn't.
Yeah, nice. What did you think of Reacher?
Loved it, dude. Started off a little wonky, but then it got a lot better.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I really like the actor that plays Reacher.
I didn't know him from anything, but I guess he's on another TV show, I guess, before this one.
Yeah, Blue Mountain State.
Okay. And then of course it has our girl from the Scream TV series in it, so I was gonna like it regardless.
Which one's that? Who? The Bex? No.
Yeah, the girl cop. The
okay.
I forget her actual name, but she plays like the Sidney Prescott in the.
Oh right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's all good.
What have you been watching,
dude? Absolutely nothing. Dude, between traveling for work, soccer, the kids are back in school. It's so stupid. But we did start The Devil in Ohio. Did you guys see that on Netflix?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. We're 4 episodes into that. Of course, House of the Dragon. I'm obviously not going to not watch Game of Thrones when it's on. What do you think so far?
I haven't watched episode 3 yet, but the first 2 were good.
Yeah, I haven't watched episode 3 either, but I'm like pretty sure that like it fucking Barstool or something spoiled it already like a day after.
Seriously?
Yeah. I think I know what happens just by their like fucking shit they put on there, but well, whatever.
Glad I missed that.
Yeah.
Dude, it's moving so fast.
That's what I heard, that there's a couple things that happen in the third episode that people didn't expect.
Yeah, it's moving so much faster than Game of Thrones did.
Yeah.
Well, what are they? They're signed on for 2 seasons.
I don't know. Is that
They
what-
just renewed. They just renewed for second
2.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I'm excited for it because like if they include everything that's included in the actual story of the Targaryens, like it's gonna be fucking crazy.
Have you read that book that it's based off of?
I'm reading it right now. I'm not very far into it, but
Okay.
it's got those thin like Bible pages. It's gonna take a while to get through.
It's tougher to read than the Game of Thrones books were.
Yeah, because it's not like a story, right? It's just
Right.
like a retelling of like the events that kind of happened.
It's basically like, so I have back here, I don't know if you can tell what it is because the screen's low, but there's that orange book up there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
history of Westeros. So it's the entire history of Westeros. So it has the Targaryens, all the bloodlines all the way back. But this is just the Fire and Blood book is just the Targaryens. And it's like their history 300 some years before Dany was born.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's all it is. It's just like reading a history book. So at
Yeah.
times, like I cannot read it before bed because it puts me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. All right. That's a long enough intro.
Yeah,
guys
me
ready
and
to-
Mark took 25 minutes just fucking day ours.
You guys ready to talk about this movie?
Yes, sir. I know you are, Mark, because you missed out on fucking Josh's episode.
Did I?
Remember they did
the
they
anniversary?
redid their first episode.
Yeah. Was I not in that?
Yeah, you were on it.
I was on
I thought
that.
you didn't make it. Oh, that was Wolf Cop.
Wolf
Never
Cop,
mind.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Fuck you.
Hey, fuck you too.
All right, let's cue that theme music and fucking dive into this movie. All right, like we said in the intro this week, we're talking about Scream from 1996, the horror movie that kicked off the slasher craze from the 90s and beyond. It was a resurgence in horror. People fucking flocked to the theaters. It made a shit ton of money. It made a whole bunch of sequels. It made a shit ton of fans. So excited to talk about this movie and this franchise. I think it's going to be a lot of great discussions because this is such a beloved franchise by everybody that we have included on this.
Yeah.
All right, before we talk about it, what's everyone drinking?
Well, I got into the expensive Glenfiddich whiskey over here, 'cause
Hello.
it's always an event whenever Josh comes on.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Brooke busts out the scotch and we're just over here drinking fucking lagers.
Mine's a fine Pilsner.
That's fine.
You
What are
know me,
drinking, Mark?
You know me.
Yeah.
Right here.
Ooh, look at the American flag can, eh?
Always. I had to get rid of the flag behind me, so I only drink American flag Millers now.
There you go. I went into the beer store the other day before Labor Day weekend and they had Land Shark on sale.
Oh, nice.
So I picked up a case of it and it's fucking good, man.
Yeah, I like Landshark. Yeah.
I haven't had it in a while and I forgot how good it was.
I've never had it. Where's it from? Is it from America?
It is from Margaritaville.
Ooh. Is that a
Um,
Jimmy Buffett brand?
I think it is. Yeah.
Must be.
I've eaten at Land Shark. I
There's
have.
restaurants.
Yeah. It's part of Margaritaville. It's the where they have the bands. It's like out on the beach. I've been there.
Yeah.
Maybe you've drank a Land Shark then. And you didn't
I
even know
watched.
it.
I did. I think. I actually think I did. And I watched a really shitty cover band of 311. If there's a band that should not be covered because they're already not good, it's 311.
That's a fair
They
point.
suck, dude. They're worse than Green Day.
Green Day was good for a couple albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm joking. I just like to trigger people.
311 does fucking suck though.
Yeah, they're bad, dude. Like with a
Yeah.
capital B.
Yeah. All right. Kicking this off with a synopsis. A year after the murder of her mother, a teenage girl is terrorized by a new killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game.
Bum bum bum.
What do we think about that synopsis? Is it accurate?
I think it's accurate for what they want you to think the movie's about. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of spoilers through it.
Not a lot of spoilers. Also, not a lot of diving into what's actually going on here, which we're gonna do.
That's right. That's our job. All right. This movie is directed by the one and only Wes Craven, a man who needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyways. He's done the Scream franchise up until Scream 5, Nightmare on Elm Street, and New Nightmare, Shocker, The Hills Have Eyes 1 and 2, and The Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wes Craven sadly passed away a few years back, so we're not going to get anything new from him anymore. But the shit that he has made is pretty damn good.
Yes.
Right, Josh? Even a Nightmare on Elm
Absolutely.
Street.
Absolutely. And you know what? Not to say that you won't get anything specifically from him, but you're going to see people continue to build on his legacy, like
That's
Scream
fair.
6, like Scream 6,
That's very true.
Yeah.
And Scream 5.
6 Cream.
6 Scream. Moving on to the cast list. I didn't bother going through their movies because, I mean, everybody knows who they are. If you've watched Scream, you know who these characters are. You know the movies that they've done. But anyways, we have Neve Campbell playing Sydney, our main final girl. We have Courtney Cox playing Gail, who is the secondary final girl. David Arquette, who plays Dewey. Skeet Ulrich plays Billy. Matthew Lillard plays Stu. And I have 3 honorable mentions with Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy, Rose McGowan playing Tatum, and Henry Winkler as Principal Himbry.
I feel like you should have started it with the star of the movie.
Roger Jackson?
No. Or as people thought.
Oh, Drew Barrymore. Yeah, I guess I didn't even fucking put her on the list.
Wow, dude, I was waiting. I thought she was going to be one of your honorable mentions.
She should have
Yeah,
been, really.
me too. Yeah.
That was silly of me.
I thought that was the last one, and then you throw in fucking Henry Winkler.
Hey, you can't not have the Fonz on your list.
Yeah, you could not. You left Drew Barrymore off.
Yeah, and obviously Drew Barrymore.
Okay, obviously.
Obviously. What do you guys think about this cast for its time?
I'll let Brooke go first.
I mean, for the time, I mean, it really was a bunch of unknowns, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apart from Drew Barrymore, obviously.
And I think wasn't Neve Campbell on Party of 5?
Yeah, but she still wasn't like a big name actress back then.
No, not at all. And Courtney Cox was trying to branch away from being labeled as just the Friends girl, I think.
And I think Matthew Lillard, like his big movies came out after this, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's that? SLC Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he kind of got this role like by accident.
Right.
He was dropping his girlfriend off to an audition for a different movie, and like the casting director or someone from the crew asked him if he wanted to audition for this part, and I guess he went into it and just fucking killed it.
I mean, it's a perfect role for his personality, I think.
Definitely.
Next to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Lillard, right? But now, playing off what Brooke said, I think that the cast made the movie, though, right? So you could bring in all these, and that's what horror's done forever, right? You look at like the Friday the 13th movies, the Halloween movies, the Elm Street, they bring in nobodies. And none of them, in my opinion, I know people love their Jamie Lee Curtis, but I don't. It's never paid off like this. But this franchise is also, in my mind, and tell me if I'm wrong, one of the only ones that have kept a big 3 type of character basis, right? Because they're in all the movies.
Yeah.
Which you don't normally see. Somebody's usually, you get one maybe, if one lasts to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why horror is like so great, honestly, because there isn't really any like A-lister celebrities in horror until like they're in like a few of the movies, you know, like Bruce Campbell, like he's not an A-lister, but I mean maybe to us horror fans he's an A-lister, you know.
Right.
It's kind of like the stepping stones for a lot of actors like Kevin Bacon, you know, countless others.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a lot of people didn't want to do horror movies because they were so frowned upon that, like, that's like you were going to get typecast. Like Jamie Lee Curtis broke out of that, but at first she was typecast as a scream queen, and that's all she would get.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people then, versus now, I think people avoided it then. Whereas now you see people like Jenna Ortega who are taking full advantage of it, and she's a humongous star.
Yeah. Speaking of her, did you see that Wednesday is not going to be released on Halloween?
Is it even going to be released this year?
I don't know. I just saw that they're not. They were supposed to be released this October, but they're not releasing it now.
I think they were trying to release the Munsters and Addams Family at the same time, and then Addams Family got delayed. I think, which Munsters didn't. But
it sucks. They delayed the wrong one.
Good one. Yeah. Stupid.
But yeah, I agree with you guys on this cast. In 1996. They were, I don't want to say they were like nobodies, but they weren't the stars that they are now. And realistically, like Courtney Cox is huge, obviously. David Arquette had his time. Skeet Ulrich, he kind of stayed a little bit of a B-lister. Like he had his role in Riverdale, but like other than that, we haven't really seen him in a whole lot. Matthew Lillard really branched off and did a whole bunch of other shit. And Courtney Cox obviously stuck with Friends, but like realistically, none of them have gone on to be A-listers outside of this Scream franchise.
No.
I somewhat agree with that. I would say that, yeah, Courtney Cox is, I think she's definitely an A-lister. I don't know how you wouldn't classify her as an A-lister.
She's only an A-lister with Friends and with Scream. What else is she really in?
Scream is such a monumental movie that I don't like. David Arquette, I wouldn't know if I'd classify him as an A-lister, but at one point he was pretty damn close, right? Like, look at all the shit he got because of Scream. And then his whole wrestling career thing he did, which is
yeah.
Ready
Guy
to
almost
rumble?
fucking died. He fucking got cut in the throat with a fucking glass tube.
Right, but you look like Ready to Rumble. Ready to Rumble, that was a big movie. What's the spider movie? Eight-Legged Freaks was a pretty big movie.
Yeah. C-Spot Run wasn't like a big movie, but
I don't know. I'm probably biased though, so.
But that's what I mean. Like outside of Scream, like, yeah, obviously people know who they are now, but they're not huge named actors, save for a couple of them. Like Courtney Cox had Friends and this and Ace Ventura. And what else?
Are you discrediting Cougar Town?
I've never seen Cougar Town.
Son of a bitch. She's on a show right now that I don't even know what it's called, but she's on one.
Cougar Town. You just said it.
No, there's a new one. She's like lives in a house with ghosts or something, and she thinks the ghost is like molesting her or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's a comedy.
Hope so.
Not
with that plot line.
I endorse that kind of thing. Yeah. Wasn't Courtney Cox in an Adam Sandler movie?
Yes, actually, The Longest Yard.
Yeah, there you go.
She wasn't in the whole movie though.
Just the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy got a lot too.
Yeah. Well, he had his own show for a while.
He had his own show.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Oh my god. I had the fucking movie poster for that in my room.
Chapstick, dog. There's a photo.
Fucking Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Was this your treat? Or is this your bush? Get no bush.
But I would argue that okay, I give you they're not A-list. Well, I still think maybe Courtney Cox is, but I wholeheartedly believe Nev Campbell is because
they're like B+ listers.
Yeah. But they all like the majority of them went on to do more movies, whereas in most of them, like name somebody from Friday the 13th that went on to do more movies.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kevin Bacon.
Okay, fuck Kevin Bacon. Christ.
But no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But Kevin Bacon also only had that one initial movie in that franchise. These ones have, like how you mentioned, they've continued on throughout the whole franchise with Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette. And then Skeet Ulrich made an appearance, obviously, in Scream 5. And Jamie Kennedy was in Scream 2. But like, yeah.
Matthew Lillard is Shaggy.
Yeah, I said Matthew Lillard is probably like the biggest name outside of Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't agree with you. I'm sitting here playing devil's advocate for myself now because I love a good debate. And I look at Halloween and Jamie Lee Curtis became a huge star. I look at A Nightmare on Elm Street and Johnny Depp, arguably one of the biggest actors ever.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, you have Kevin Bacon, arguably one of the biggest actors ever. So now I'm sitting here arguing against myself.
So,
Sorry.
do you think that their roles in this franchise kind of ruined any outside roles that they could have gotten?
I don't know if it's because of this movie or if it's because they continued to do these movies. Think of how much of Nev Campbell's life was dedicated to doing Scream movies.
That's what I mean, right? Like she couldn't take any other role because she was Sidney Prescott.
Right. And now they don't want to give her the money she wants, Mark.
I know, fucking assholes.
I think, in my eyes, I think it was worth it. Like
Absolutely.
for that, because I feel like this franchise, like not to get too far ahead of like our whole month, but this whole franchise, there's, in my opinion, there's not any bad movie in the franchise. There's just ones you like more than others.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think because of the chemistry that they had on set making the first one, probably played into why they wanted to keep doing more of these. You can't tell me that if you go back to like the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that even if they didn't kill off all those characters, that they could have talked those kids into coming back to do a second one.
No, most of them hated it. It
No
was a
way.
terrible experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. Versus this, where they all loved each other and had a great time, and they still hang out at conventions for fuck's sake. And it was how many years ago, right? So I think it's completely different, which I think you also see in the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And they have the same writers, and Wes Craven is, both Kevin Williamson, who's the writer, and Craven have been a part of pretty much the whole franchise and any spin-offs and all of that. So
I think that's huge too, right? Like, because you're not getting different people's ideas mixed in with all the original ideas, right? Like you have these two main guys that have gone through the entire thing and have continued on the story that they've wanted it to be, not giving up the rights to other writers or directors.
Yeah, absolutely. Which you don't see anymore, right? Like James
No.
Wan comes out with a great movie, and then he may do the first two and then hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah, and then they turn it to shit.
Yeah.
it would be nice to see Williamson kind of branch off. I don't know if he has any like upcoming stuff that he's working on, like apart from Scream related, but it would be nice to see him kind of branch off to this and do some more original work, because we know he can do it.
Yeah.
Kevin Williamson?
Yeah, what I say.
You just said Williamson. I decided.
Kevin Williamson. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because what's obviously he did the greatest show ever, Dawson's Creek. I mean, gosh, what more can you ask for the guy? Didn't he also do the Vampire Diaries?
I don't
He
know.
might have done a few episodes on that.
I think that's his show.
Is it?
I believe it is. And then he did The Faculty. Like he had that
Yeah.
whole era after this was totally him. He totally like Cursed. Wasn't Cursed a Kevin Williamson movie?
Yeah, Cursed, and I Know He Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me that he wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer first and nobody wanted it. And then Scream took off and they're like, yeah, we'll take that shitty movie.
Yeah.
But he's wild. He's a very creative guy. And I think he kind of signed off on the script for Scream 5. I think that they bounced ideas off of him. I don't think he was a primary writer, if a writer at all, on it. I think he just kind of greenlit it.
Oh, okay.
But the people that they got behind the scenes for that movie did the franchise justice. Like they didn't fuck it up. And like that was everyone's biggest concern, was like Wes Craven's dead now. Like, how are they going to go forward with this? Like, they're going to fuck this whole franchise up. But if anything, like, it's one of the better movies in the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Hang on one second. Jesus Christ. Good Lord, Mark.
What did I do?
I don't know.
Oh my God, dude.
So
Yeah, it's shut. Sorry. My cat was just fucking another cat up in my garage.
nice.
Could you guys hear it?
No, heard you yelling something.
I
but-
kept hearing this noise and I was like, what? I thought it was like because your window was open. I was like, what is that fucking noise? I'm like watching you. They're like, take my earphone off. And I'm like, that's my garage. Like my garage window's right here. And then like I toss the headphones and go out and there's this black cat in my garage. Sorry, this has been the wildest recording. I'm
So,
sorry.
yeah, this is a crazy one.
I mean, we got to keep that in, right? There's a
I'm
cat
keeping it.
having sex in my garage.
No,
I'm
they
keeping
were
it.
they were going at it, dude, like fighting.
Oh, they're fighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and church is mean. Like I don't. Then my God, this dude across the street. I don't know if he listens or not. I hope he listens, dog. He's like a cat dude, like a weird cat dude.
Hmm.
Like you guys cat people. Am I like making fun of you right now?
I'm not a cat person.
Not really, no.
Oh, you both were looking like, oh God, this guy's a real jerk. But like,
No, I was enthralled in the conversation.
no, this dude lives for his cat. So if my cat killed his cat, like it would be like he'd probably shoot me.
It's his fault for letting his cat out.
Probably, but he's probably also a cat guy who doesn't have any guns, so he's welcome to come over here. Anyway, sorry about that.
How many guns do you have?
A couple
Yeah,
in each room.
in each room.
I got one under the table right here, dude. I don't know who's gonna come.
Yeah.
I want to see this.
No.
You own 0 guns.
Come find out. Are you willing to chance it?
I don't know, an 8-hour drive down to Ohio.
We just end up getting drunk.
Yeah, and firing off your guns in the backyard.
Just don't shoot my pool.
All right, let's get back to this topic of discussion.
Yeah, it's funny. We'll put a pin in this conversation because we'll be able to have this same conversation in the next episode about like the actors and
That's true.
all that
A
stuff
lot of them.
for that movie. Yeah, too.
Mhm.
So
Maybe like for each episode, we can compare the casts, like as we move forward.
Aren't they going to be the same?
What do you
For the
mean?
well, not like the core group.
Ah,
Yeah,
the secondary, the B listers.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about this movie.
All right. So we all love this movie. So let's kind of be an open discussion.
Mhm.
Won't necessarily go like scene by scene, blah, 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 blah. If you haven't seen Scream, I'm not even going to warn you because you should have watched it by now. So
100 times at least.
100 times at least. Yes. And we'll try and think of things that haven't been said about this movie before, but it's going to be hard. One of the most iconic, I think, opening scenes in any movie.
Without a doubt.
It's like a prank on the audience, and I love it.
Seriously.
Complete bait and switch, right? Especially the way that they advertise the movie.
Yeah. Drew Barrymore is on the fucking front cover, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
And she wanted to be the first one killed.
Yeah.
Well, she had to be because didn't she have something else, another movie? Because I thought she signed on to do this and then got another role, but didn't want to drop this one.
When did Charlie's Angels come out? Was that around this time or was that early 2000s?
I feel like that was early 2000s.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
like
remember
late 1990.
there was some sort of scheduling conflict with this movie. That's why she decided to do the Casey Becker part. But dude, do you think, here's a question. Do you think this movie with a different opening scene or even a different actress in that scene still does as well?
I don't think it's going to get the audience as involved in the movie.
Don't you think? And
No.
again, I didn't go to the theater to see this movie. I was born in the end of 87. So basically 88. So I would have been 8 years old?
Yeah.
So don't you think though, when people left, it was, you have to go see that scary movie where they killed Drew Barrymore in the first 12 minutes?
Yeah. It was probably Spoiler City coming into that movie theater.
You have to go see it just for the first 12 minutes because of, like, if you don't have that, does it really, it's like word of mouth. At that point, that's all you really had though, right? Because you didn't have social media or Letterboxd or whatever.
Yeah.
But I always wonder if it would have done as well if that hadn't happened to Drew Barrymore in that scene.
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's word of mouth, right? Like that scene alone got people talking about this movie because nobody would have in a million years expected Drew Barrymore, who is like arguably at the peak of her career in the late 90s and early 2000s, to be the second one killed off in the movie.
Right.
And yeah, like the marketing team on this movie were fucking geniuses, right? Because they got people to this movie by claiming that Drew Barrymore was like the main star, or not claiming it, but implying that she was the main star.
Right.
Like I guarantee people were like, "Hey, I'm going to see that new Drew Barrymore flick in the movie theater this weekend."
Exactly.
Like,
or how many people just went to see it because she was in it?
Yeah.
I think it would have been on the same level. Like, back in the days, you don't really wait in line anymore, but people waiting in line like for like Empire Strikes Back or whatever. It's like, oh, Darth Vader is dead. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? Imagine people like waiting in line, like, oh my God, I can't believe Drew Barrymore died in like the first 10 minutes. Like, imagine how pissed you would be.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even believe it though. You'd be like, oh, okay, that guy's fucking joking, right?
Yeah.
In there and he just and it's not even like she like falls off a cliff and dies. Like they brutally kill her in this movie. Like while her parents are listening on the other line, which adds an aspect of it now. And so I did an episode with Tawny from Two Chicks on this movie, and she missed the boat on this movie. She didn't see it. I don't know if you guys listened to that episode or not.
It was a great discussion. Yeah.
Well, I hope to recreate it, but God, I drink a lot, boys. So good. I'm older now and I forget things. But she missed the boat. But I'm like, I didn't really miss the boat on it. I don't think it's obviously my favorite horror movie, and it opened my eyes to the genre. But at the same time, as I get older, and every time I watch it, I notice different things in the movie. And now watching it as a parent, like I'm like, I went from being that teenage kid that was like, oh my God, this would be horrifying to be that kid at home, having this person call me and fuck with me. Then it would be horrible to have this person in this mask kill me at a young age, right? But now I'm like, as the parent, I'm like, I would be horrible to come home from the movies and my daughter is on the phone and I'm listening to her die.
Yeah.
Like those are the different revelations you go through as you grow with the movie, which I've been able to do. Having missed that opportunity, she didn't get that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's the other thing this movie does for me is that I've grown with it, and now I've seen myself not in the Casey Becker or the Drew Bear, whoever, in those different roles, and now I see myself as the Oleg, the parent, and it's like, oh God, it's even heart wrenching watching it from that perspective.
Well, and her parents really killed that scene too. Like her mom, especially, like the way that she reacts to not only do they have the whole thing with like Casey dying, but like they walk into the house and the fucking smoke detectors are going off like crazy. The house is on fire. Like they're worrying about that. And they're trying to find Casey. Can't find her anywhere.
She's like on the other phone, like just like barely breathing and like talking. They're like, Casey, where are you? Like, we can hear you.
And like the way her mother in this scene just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely. And then to find her hung up from the swing the way they did, like,
yeah.
But again, a completely different aspect now, me watching it versus when I initially watched it, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the power of this one film.
Yeah. Yeah. It, like you said, it's kind of grown with us through each stage of our life.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like, I know, Josh, you've watched this movie a bajillion times. Like, I've watched it probably, I don't know, 20 times over since I've seen it. And still, every time you watch it, like, even though you know who the killers are, you still find something new and just find enjoyment in every time you watch it.
Yeah. I found on this watch, I was trying to figure out which character was in the suit.
Me too. I actually have a kind of, not a game, but
okay.
We could, I want to do it for this opening kill, but we can do it for the rest of them if we want to. So on the count of 3, say who you think it is of the two guys.
In the suit or who's there?
Like who kills Casey?
Okay.
I think it's Billy.
Well, you just ruined the countdown. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, cut. Try again.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Stu.
Billy.
Okay. Mark, reasons. Go.
Actually, no,
just because we both said Stu.
No. Actually, I think it is Stu, actually. Just the way that he moves around the house. He's got that like kind of goofy stature as he's kind of creeping around the house. And he falls over whenever he's chasing her, and she manages to like kick him off of her at one point. Like, I think it's Stu. And the voice on the phone sounds a lot more like Billy. Like I know it's Roger
Mhm.
Jackson, but it sounds like Billy's voice more than Stu's voice.
Yeah. I thought nothing really from the kill, except for like it kind of did look like the Ghostface was really tall.
Mm,
Like when he was running beside Casey, he looked a lot taller. So I was like,
that's true.
I think that's Stu. But then also the next day when they're sitting at like the fountain and they're talking about it, like the kill, and Randy's like going on about I was like the pancreas is in the mailbox with whatever. And then Sydney says, how can someone even skin someone?
Mm,
And then Stu like jokingly like says, oh, this is how you do it. And then I think Tate kind of she says, oh, he was with me last night, but I think she was just kind of saying that, like
yeah.
kind of in the moment, like, oh, I'm his girlfriend, so I got to say that he was with me, even though
Yeah.
like she knows he wasn't.
Well, and Billy kind of shuts him up in that moment too.
Right.
He's like, it's called tact, asshole, or something, whatever it is that he says. But
Yeah.
And that's something I've noticed more recently. I think maybe even on the watch I did to do this with two chicks was just watching the mannerisms of everybody in each scene.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that it's Stu because I believe Billy's on the phone.
yeah,
Especially whenever you look at Billy's horror movie knowledge versus Stu's and all the questions that he's asking her and just the way he communicates on the phone, it sounds like Billy. And I think they're both there because it was the first time they did it and they're trying to get their bearings and they're both there, kind of like an initiation type thing, right? So I think they're both there. I do think Stu is in the suit. I also have a whole nother theory of Billy masterminding this whole thing and using Stu as a pawn, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But
Yeah.
Oh, he 100% does. Yeah.
but I think it was Billy would not have killed her first because I think Billy's whole plan was to pin everything on Stu at the end.
Mhm.
I'm assuming Billy would have had Stu kill Casey because then he would have had something on him had his plan not worked out the way he wanted it to.
Yeah.
The other thing is that fountain scene is when he says it takes a man to do something like that. And then Jamie Kennedy, Randy's making fun of him, and Stu kind of gets upset that he's making fun of him, right? Because Randy's supposed to be the nerdy guy, and he's like, I didn't kill anybody. And Billy immediately looks at him like dead glare and says, nobody said you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, with my group of friends, if I had seen that, I'd be like, oh, this dude definitely killed that woman.
Yeah. I mean, Randy figures it out. Like he figures out the whole movie basically. Like he doesn't actually, but like he does because he says, "Oh, Randy, you probably killed Casey because she dumped you for Steve."
Yeah.
And I think that's also a reason why Billy convinced him to do it. I think too is because why else would you kill Casey? Like she's not really friends with any of them that you know of, right?
That's a
Right.
motive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy to pin the killing on.
Well, I think that's also how Billy talked Stu into doing it.
Mhm.
Because I don't believe that Stu knew any of the backstory that Billy's dad was sleeping with Maureen. I don't know based on his look at that final scene, I don't know that Stu knew that. I think that Billy used Stu but didn't tell him the actual reasons he was doing all of this, which I'm sure we'll get into it. But I think that Billy's genius in all this is that he played Stu perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of unfortunate because I don't know. I like Stu a lot.
I like Stu too, but the guy's obviously psychotic regardless.
Yeah. Well, do you think Stu is like a combination like psychotic, dumb, gullible, or like just kind of a victim in his own kind of right, even though he kills people? But
I mean, he's got to agree to do this shit, right? Like I've been dumped before, and I'm not going to go and fucking kill any of the people that did that. Like, and I'm sure none of us here would do that. You have to have something wrong in your head to go ahead and agree to do this shit. Like, Brooke, if you told me right now, like, we're going to go on a killing spree tomorrow, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? Like,
well, of course they'll say that we're recording right now.
Right. I mean, I was getting ready to agree to do it. I'm glad you stopped.
to the public ear.
I think Stu is that classic person that wants everybody to like him, hence the party, hence he's the fun party guy.
He's a puppy dog.
He is, but he's also really, really dumb, in my opinion. And I think Billy is a genius. Like, granted, in the sense that I don't think he's a good guy. Like, I don't look up to Billy Loomis, right? Like, but I think the way he was able to plan all this out was really, really smart. And Stu is the perfect character or the perfect personality to bring into that fold and basically use, in my opinion.
Yeah, because like even in the end scene, whenever they were talking, what were they talking about? And Stu was like, "That was my idea." Like he had to let them know that he at least had some part in the planning of this.
Right. And I think he and Seth brought this up, I think, on either the episode you guys were on with us or our very first one. He thought that Stu may have on some level been in love with Billy.
I think that's been a lot of the rumor or like some of the talks that have gone around through this movie.
Yeah, and I think that maybe Seth has watched Scary Movie like one too many times because like that's what they like, that whole movie is playing on that, right?
Yeah, but
so you don't think that there's any sort of eroticism between the two of them?
I don't get any of that. No.
I get where Seth's coming from because Stu is very much always like he's got his head rested on Billy. Like even in that end scene, like whenever Billy's got the knife pointed at Sydney, Stu comes up behind him and like kind of like nuzzles into the side of his cheek, and like he's very hands-on with Billy.
He is, and he's also when Billy we're jumping to the end, but like when Billy stabs Stu, he's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
He's not like when Stu stabs Billy.
Oh yeah.
He's like he's going with the plan, right? Like they're supposed to look like they got assaulted. Billy is trying to cause physical harm to Stu, and I think it really, from an emotional standpoint, damaged him. And I think you can see it. Like he's hurt. Like I think he knows he's trying to hurt him in that moment.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, he stabs him like 6 times. Like,
aggressively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do you think there's go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say, so like I get where that theory comes from. I don't necessarily believe it like 100%, but I can see where the theory comes from.
I don't think they wrote it in that manner. In that way. I think that again, the actors were so close when they were making the movie that they were probably legitimately friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably felt comfortable around each other.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's fair.
Yeah, because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like a lot of the end scene was kind of ad-libbed and stuff by Lillard, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
That end scene took them 21 days to film.
Yeah, did you see it? That like they had
That's
signs that said "I survived." Whatever scene is, like I survived.
Scene 118 or something like that.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. But Brooke, back to a comment you made earlier. I kind of forgot about this. Like, Tatum says he couldn't have killed her. He was with me last night, and Stu's like, "Yeah, I was." But if you remember, Billy went to Sydney's house. So I think that was their plan. Was he went to Sydney's, Stu went to Tatum's, and then that was going to be their alibis.
Yeah. So do you think with that scene, so whenever Sid is like in her room or whatever, Billy is the guy that is there that like attacks her, I think. But I think that they were like using each other's phones for that scene because he drops the cell phone, the police search it or whatever, find nothing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they just swap phones for this one scene.
Yeah, I think that Billy was in the suit at Sydney's and Matthew Lillard was on the phone. Because if they found Billy's phone and took it, correct?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So it would have made sense that there was nothing on it because
it was Stu.
Right. And at the time, nobody was even thinking Stu was a viable option.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And he could have been with Tatum because Tatum was at the movie store.
Yeah. Every time we see one of them in a suit, it's the opposite one that's on the phone. Like it's never like they're a team, right? Like it's never the guy in the suit is the guy that's on the phone. It's never like that.
Yeah,
Right.
because at the end party scene, I don't think there's any phone calls, right? Because Stu was in his robe, kind of like hosting the party.
Yeah.
and Billy is doing his thing, which we'll bring up later.
Don't you only correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you only really get 2 phone scenes other than when he calls her at Tatum's house, but he doesn't attack her then? It's Casey and then the one at Sydney's house, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which is funny because a lot of the prestige of this movie is the fact that they're doing these prank calls, and there's really not that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which that whole thing is also genius to me. That Billy pulls off because you hear him tell the sheriff to call his dad when he's being arrested. He's like, call my dad, which opens him up to be able to call, or maybe it was Matthew Lillard, but I think it was Billy that called Sydney at Tatum's. Because she kind of calls him out for it later. She was like, who'd you call with your one phone call? And he's like, my dad. And Sydney is like, no, I heard you ask the sheriff to call your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he didn't answer when I called.
Yeah.
But like, how does he change his voice?
That's true. He doesn't have a voice changer. I don't know.
Yeah.
That whole thing just kind of plays into like, because nobody knows that it's 2 killers, right? Everyone thinks it's just the one guy. So maybe Billy called Stu and said, Stu, you need to call Sydney so that she thinks, so that like it gets me, like her scent off of me kind of thing.
Okay. I like that theory because he would call Stu would call Sydney, but then they would think that it couldn't be Billy because Billy's in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that makes more sense to me. You've changed my mind, Mark.
Woohoo.
I do think that the second scene where Sydney gets attacked in the bathroom is Stu as well.
Oh, like in the school bathroom?
Yeah,
it has to be.
Because you can hear his voice like whenever he like goes to tackle her and he like kind of like grunts a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have like the voice changer, right? So
yeah.
Well, I think that was also a setup, right? Because Billy talks to Sydney out in the hallway.
Yeah.
He's purposely being a dickhead to make her run to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was very smart on, well, Billy, I don't know how much Stu did, but I mean, at the end, Stu does say that he came up with one of the ideas for it. I don't know how true it is, but.
Don't you wonder, though, and I was thinking about this earlier today because I was doing a report for work and I had it on in the background, just kind of listening to it. And I was thinking, okay, they kill Casey, Becker, and Steve, and then they immediately try to kill Sydney. But what if they'd killed Sydney? What was their end game?
Is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Then you don't have the party scene.
Yeah.
They don't kill Tatum, which I don't know if Tatum was a planned kill or not. I don't really know. I would assume it was, but I don't know why Stu would want to kill Tatum. I get why I don't sympathize with why he killed Casey, but I understand the motive behind killing Casey, but I don't know. I'm always like, well, what if they killed Sydney, or were they even going to kill her? Were they just going to fuck with her?
Well, my theory is that they only originally wanted to kill the 2 of them. They wanted to kill Casey because she left Stu to be with Steve, and then they wanted to kill Sydney because Sydney's mother slept with Billy's father.
Yeah.
So I think in the beginning, their original plan was, we're just going to kill these 2, and we're going to kill Sydney on the anniversary of her mother's death. Which, no, that can't even come into play because that's like 3 days after the initial attack.
I think what happened is, so they killed Casey. They planned to kill Sydney. Sydney's a badass. She fucked Billy up. They didn't expect that. So they had to redo another plan where Stu hosts a party or whatever.
Yeah.
They killed the principal as kind of a distraction to get all the other kids away from the party, right?
But like, he goes into the garage with Tatum, like he follows her in there. So obviously that's premeditated in some way.
I think Billy just is fucked up and came up with some excuse to tell Stu that Tate needed to die. I don't think it was Stu that killed Tate. I think it was Billy.
So maybe Billy loves Stu and he wanted to get Tatum out of the picture.
That's a stretch. I know. I think we just screwed our game up, but I agree. I think that Billy killed Tatum.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Because whenever we were going all over the place, but whatever. Whenever like Stu is like at the door and then Billy like comes up to the door, he kind of like gives Stu like a wink, like, okay, it's done, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Billy killed because I don't understand why they would want. I don't know. I don't know why he would want to kill Tatum. I get the Casey Becker thing. I get the Sydney thing. I don't understand.
Well, I don't think Tatum would have left without Stu, right?
That's true.
So they had to get her out of the picture somehow.
That's true.
And they tried to they killed what's the cameraman's name?
Kenny.
Come
They
on,
killed
Kenny.
I know. They killed Kenny and tried to kill Gail because they're not going to leave, right? They're fucking doing news.
And they're reporters on the scene, right? Like,
yeah,
that's going to be unwanted publicity if they don't kill them.
And that is Stu downstairs because Billy's upstairs at the party with Nev. They're having sex. So that is Stu that does not kill Randy.
Yeah.
And do you think he was not going to kill Randy? I know it shows him about to kill Randy and then there's the scream or whatever, but like, I don't know that he was going to kill Randy.
Yeah, I don't know.
They don't seem like.
I think he might have. I think he was going to kill Randy because I love like one of my favorite scenes, especially this watch. Like I don't know why, but Randy and Stu at the video store, and like Stu knows exactly the whole plan. He's just like playing dumb, like, oh really? Why would that happen? And like Randy's going off, and Stu's just being silly, like intrigued about this whole story, and like I just love this whole scene.
Well, like you said earlier, Randy has it figured out.
Yeah, so that might be reason enough to kill him.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have. I don't know. But
Before
Randy
he
also
spills
is just so dumb that I think that was like a character that they could have totally manipulated.
Randy?
Yes, Randy's stupid. Come on. I love the character. I think he's great. His horror movie knowledge is fantastic, but he is not like, come on. Stu totally plays him at the movie store, and Stu's not smart.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Randy's got a thing for Sydney.
I love Billy in that scene though. When Randy turns around and Billy's like right there.
Yeah.
So good. Like I watched this again, watching it, and I'm like, and this is another great part, which I have later in my my Ghostface ratings, but like Billy Loomis is such a good character because like you watch it now, and there's no way you watch this movie and you don't knowing he's the killer and you don't go, obviously he's the killer. Like look at the shit that he does.
Oh yeah.
Obviously the shit he says and the way he acts and the things he's like recalls in this movie and says to people, you're like, it's like he's obviously the killer. But then when it's revealed he's the killer, which I loved about Scream 5, whenever they reveal who the killer is, and he goes, yeah, I know it sucks, it's me. That was like the reaction I feel like everybody had when it was like, oh, Billy's the killer. It's like, oh no, that sucks, it's Billy.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just think that because he was so charismatic and fun to watch in the movie, but like you watch it now and he's clearly psychotic.
Yeah, because like we said, even Randy says to Stu, like, dude, there's no way he's not the killer. Just look at him.
Seriously though, like just the expressions that are on his face half the time. It's like this guy just is itching to kill somebody right now.
Right.
And I love Stu and Billy because they're like polar opposites, right?
Which makes them
Billy's
work.
a super serious guy, and then Stu's just this fucking goofy, loud guy who somehow got Tatum. I don't know how, but
yeah, now that you mention that is weird.
And he had Casey too.
Yeah.
He's got that big dick energy, dude.
He's got it. He's got
maybe
Pete Davidson.
Maybe he has like a rich family because at the end he's like, my parents are gonna be so mad at me.
I fucking love that scene, man.
Yeah.
Did you really call the cops?
Oh, my parents are gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of all these theories of them wanting to bring him back?
How do you bring him back?
I think he was originally a plot point in the third one before they redid the script that it was going to be like that TV didn't kill him and he was off at a prison somehow, and there are these copycat killers that have been like writing him and like they've gotten all this inspiration from him, and then that's how he somehow comes back into it, I guess.
Like I get all that, but like Billy stabbed him at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
He's bleeding out already. He's already like
Yeah.
not losing consciousness, but he says, "I'm getting woozy here." And then
I think I'm dying, man.
yeah. And then not only does he get a vase smashed over his head, she fucking throws that giant ass tube box TV on him,
Oh
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
would kill him in itself, but then it electrocutes him for like a solid 5 or 6 seconds. Like there's no way that you can bring him back.
I think it was just a lot of what do they call that when they do it for the fans?
Like fan service.
Basically, I think people wanted to see Stu come back, which is funny because you do get Billy back in Scream
Yeah.
5. If you haven't seen that movie, that's your own fault. But and you guys are going to be doing it in like 4 episodes anyway, so
That's
if they
right.
need to watch it. But you get like the Billy Loomis character back, which is funny. So I think everybody wanted to see Stu back.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I would love to see Stu come back, but I just don't see how they can do it with it making sense.
yeah, fan service is what that's called, by the way. I just thought of it.
That's no, you didn't.
That's
Brooke said
what
it.
I literally just said.
Very good. Rewind it and listen.
Okay. Do you guys think that there's an alternate universe where Scream stuck with the original Scary Movie and then Scary Movie decided to call their franchise Scream?
What?
I hear what you're saying because Scream was originally supposed to be called Scary Movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was.
However, no.
The short and narrow of it, just no.
No, I don't want to entertain that.
Fuck.
Okay, bias aside, even though I already know both your answers.
Okay.
Before you saw Scream, if you looked at a movie poster, same movie poster, one was Scream, one was Scary Movie, which one would you go to, side A or side B?
Well, which one's which?
A is Scream and B is Scary Movie.
All biases aside?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
here's the Scream poster.
That
and,
Scream poster is fucking sick, man.
I'd go to Scream because isn't the Scary Movie poster? It's got all the goofy, like Anna Faris is on it, right?
They're in the movie theater. No, that's
Yeah.
Scream 2 or Scary Movie 2.
What is this poster for?
What is the
Scary
poster
Movie?
for Scary Movie? Yeah.
You guys got all this crazy technology. You should just pull it up here.
Actually, yeah. Here, I'll just do that. I'll share my screen.
Oh, share it.
Isn't it just like all the characters?
I think it is.
Watch Mark's fucking porn searches pop up.
That's why I typed it up real quick.
That would be so funny.
It's not letting
Yeah,
me move it.
you're right. It's them in the theater. I would go see Scream because that movie poster looks stupid.
Yeah.
And it's got
Well,
fucking Marlon
I mean,
Wayans.
like keep the same movie poster, like the Scream movie poster, but have Scary Movie on the bottom instead of Scream.
What? That's not what you said.
Yes, I did. Just you guys.
You worded that way wrong then.
All right, so it's the Scream
Poster.
poster,
But called Scary Movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it would matter.
You don't think so?
I think Scary Movie's a stupid ass title for Scream. If that's what you're trying to get at.
Okay.
I
So
don't-
you wouldn't like believe a movie is scary if they called itself Scary Movie.
Well, I'm not saying that I wouldn't believe it, but I just think it's a stupid name for it.
I think they got really lucky by changing that name to Scream versus keeping it Scary Movie. But I don't know that they were ever going to call it Scary Movie. I think that was just like the makeshift title for the script.
Hmm.
Because don't most movies do that? They have like a name, and then once it is ready to be released or for marketing, that's when they come up with the actual name.
It saves leaks and shit too, right? Like,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It makes me think of when I played music in bands, because like, I would imagine 99% of bands even today, like we name songs for the albums, like whatever the title of the song is. But like before it ever had a title, it had like a name. Like
Mhm.
we would call it something stupid. And that was,
Yeah.
we always remembered it that way. Like we never remembered, I shouldn't say never. The majority of the time we didn't, call it whatever it was called if you bought the CD at our show. We called it, I don't know, Scream, Scream, Scream. Like we never remembered it that way. Like we never remembered the majority of the time we didn't call it whatever it was called if you bought the CD at our show. We called it like the puke rug 4 or something, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because we probably AJ probably puked on the rug while he was screaming during that song while we were writing it, and like let's play the puke song.
Yeah.
Like that's how we would remember the songs versus what you would see on the CD cover. So I would imagine movies are the same way, right? And they probably called the Scary Movie because they were pulling so much influence from all the scary movies, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Brooke?
On what the whole...
Well, the question that you just asked us.
Well, I'd go with like Scream as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I will say I didn't like Henry Winkler in this movie.
Nah, he's just a cameo.
Nah,
Right.
dude, he's fucking weird, bro.
Very weird.
Well,
man.
yeah.
Like,
Okay.
He
like
grabbed her
towards
face.
Sid, it's very weird. And then like
He's a pedophile principal for sure, but
when the kids, pull the prank or run down the halls, like he like overacted the shit out of that. It's like fucking, oh, you're expelled, and like holds the knife up to him. And
Yeah,
does he say something? If you do that again, I'll fucking cut you open or something like that.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
talking about gutting him.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Do you think maybe that's like the movie's way of trying to make you think that maybe he's the killer?
yes, I think
100%. Yeah.
and I think I said this once that at one point, because they do such a good job of sending you down so many different rabbit holes in this movie, that at one point, like they do try to make you think it's the principal.
Mhm.
But,
He's too fucking old for that shit, though.
and he's fucking weird, dude. It's like he went to Harvey Weinstein and was like, "Hey, teach me how to be weird." And Harvey's like, "Oh, okay."
They
Yeah.
did do the movie.
Yeah. They
Could you
did.
imagine if they, in this movie, instead of Dewey surviving, just whenever she opens the door and has a scream mask and he just like shoots him in the face because she thinks
Jesus
it's
Christ.
fucking ghost face. I mean, that was a dumb move by Dewey. Okay, come on.
Well, I mean, yeah, like what's he thinking? But Dewey's such an idiot too.
I was
right?
just getting ready to say that's another character that they make purposely stupid,
Yeah.
but you love him.
Oh, you watched the show? Yeah, I was 24 for a whole year. I'm 25 now. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, he watched it for a whole year, dude. These Miller Light bottles, dude. I'm not buying them anymore.
Are they wet?
They don't open, and this is like the third time I've cut myself trying to open one of these things.
Gotta get better grip.
I got that kung fu grip, baby. Oh,
Oh, there you go.
not
It's such a displeasing sound too.
yeah, but they're so much
Yeah.
nicer for the pool, dude. They don't leak out everywhere. Put the little cap on the top. I'm
That's true.
bleeding. Son of a gun.
What do you think it is about Dewey that Gail ends up falling for?
His childish charm,
His boyish good looks.
his ripped body that she makes a comment about.
I think she's using Dewey the entire.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
like
don't
without a doubt.
At what point are they together? Because in four is the only one they're actually together, right? Because 1 is this when they meet. 2, she left, right?
She went to New York City
Yeah.
or whatever.
3, he went back to Hollywood, I think, and was acting like he was doing the bodyguard thing. And then in
Yeah.
4,
Yeah.
they're married, and then 5, they're divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
But like the implication is there that after Scream 1, they've been together throughout the whole, like at certain points throughout the whole franchise.
Mhm.
I don't think they didn't hook up though, did they? After 1, because 2, when she comes back, or when she shows up in Ohio, he's excited. I think.
No, like, because in Scream 2, didn't he talk about how like they split up or something like that, or they broke up, or she left or something?
I thought that was 3. Maybe it
Maybe
was.
that was 3.
2 is where she brings Cotton back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I'm sure we're going to talk about, right?
Which one's the one where Dewey's like basically an alcoholic and he just like wakes up in the morning and watches her show? Was that 3 or was that 2?
That's 5, dude.
No. Oh fuck! It was 5. Wow.
That's 5, dude. That's
That
a
is
sad
5.
Dewey.
Yeah, you're right. That is 5.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna play. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna play another game of who is the ghost face killer.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, Mark, don't fuck it up this time. Okay.
I'll try not to.
Okay. Who killed the principal?
Eesh.
3, 2, 1.
Billy.
Oh, okay. So I said Stu.
Yeah,
I said Billy.
Mark said Billy as well.
I also said Billy.
I think Stu is getting the party ready. He wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to, and Billy's the one that kills him and hangs it from the goalpost so that the kids will go there later.
Yeah.
Those are valid points. I didn't think of that. But I'm still going to stick with Stu
Okay.
because I don't think Billy is man enough, like strong enough to lift a guy up on a goalpost and hang them.
You can do anything with leverage, though.
So here's what he did. Are you ready? And I've never done this. It may sound like I have, but I haven't. You would tie the noose around his neck.
That's what I'm talking about.
Toss the rope over the goalpost, and then all you'd have to do is pull him up.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like put tie it around a cinder block or whatever you're going to tie it around to hold the big fella up there.
That's the leverage that I meant.
Well, you didn't go into detail. You were just like, well, with a little bit of leverage, you can do anything.
Okay.
With a little bit of effort.
That's fair. But what does he have to get ready at the party? He's literally, does everyone BYOB?
Well, he's there whenever people start showing up.
He has to be there.
Yeah, but the principal was killed in the daytime, though.
But
But Billy comes late.
That's true.
Because he was killing Tate.
No,
Tate.
he was
Stop
killing
calling
the
her
principal.
Tate. Would you please stop calling her Tate? It makes me feel weird.
That's what it says on IMDb, isn't it?
Tatum, bro. Tatum.
Are you sure?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
But Stu leaves school with Sydney and Tatum because he's talking them into coming to the party. Because I think he asks them first if they're coming. Because if they're not coming to the party, he's not going to have the party. So he talks them into coming to the party. Then he has to go spread the word, the good word. He's like Jesus.
What's IMDb say, Brooke?
You're both wrong.
Yeah.
Can I start calling her Taint instead?
Dude, I have a friend, one of my best friends from school, and his kid is named Tate, okay? And fucking asshole Seth decided to make a joke about his son's name and called him Taint.
Oh my God.
Dude, I thought it was funny, but my buddy did not at all think it was comical. Which made it even more funny for somebody with my personality. So I didn't help the situation. I didn't diffuse it whatsoever.
Okay, so you guys only think that Stu killed one person. So no, he killed Kenny as well. So
he definitely killed Kenny.
Yeah. 2 people,
so
yeah.
You think he killed Casey and Kenny.
Yeah.
And then Billy killed the principal and Tatum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is there only 4 deaths? Yeah, there is.
Steve.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
Steve
that goes with Casey, so there's 5.
Okay.
It seems like there should be more.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's lots of attacks, but not everybody dies, right?
Oh, but Randy gets shot.
Yep. Who do you think stabs Dewey?
Well, Billy's dead, right, upstairs?
That's Stu. Stu is still in the suit because he's also the one that we have seen.
Right. That's right.
Which I still don't understand that scene. Can somebody talk me through that?
Which one?
Where she's in the car and all the doors are locked and the doors unlock and they're popping it. And then all of a sudden Ghostface is gone and like the back hatch opens up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had the keys, right?
She didn't hear that hatch opening up.
Apparently not.
1996, dude. There was nothing quiet about cars back then.
But was that the police car? No.
No,
Yes.
it was
the police car, wasn't it?
Yeah, so she was
was
she was on the walkie, so the walkie was going off, so maybe that's why she didn't hear it.
I'm just like,
And even more stupid scene is in the news van when she crawls through that little hole.
Oh yeah.
And then Ghostface chases her through the hole. I'm just like, why would you do that?
I often wonder if it's
because that's Stu, right? Because he just killed Kenny.
Yeah.
But Tatum
Stu's
did
not
the
the
same
brightest.
thing. Tatum did the Tate did the same thing with the doggy door.
Yeah,
So I always thought it was just kind of a joke about that.
maybe. But she didn't have a choice though. He had a choice.
But I know, but I think it's the movie making a joke, like because it's like when she does that, everybody is like, no, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
How stupid do you have to be to try to crawl through a doggy door? Even though I did it a few years ago, trying to get into my garage because I got locked out of the house. It doesn't work, by the way, and I don't have the
big booty,
the big upper chest that Tatum has.
She got her chest through. It was her ass that kept her out.
Yeah, I don't get that.
No.
It's like she could have easily fit through there.
She has one shoulder through. She can't get the bosoms through.
I thought it was her ass. Maybe that's in Scary Movie that it's the ass.
That girl's huge.
No, she gets like one arm and her head through, and then it pulls her up, and she's like,
"Oh yeah, yeah."
During this watch, I also came up with the most genius idea, and we should totally put a patent on it.
Who are we killing?
Well, okay, we're still recording there, Mark.
All right.
Okay, so there's been 5 Scream movies released. They should release a Scream Clue game.
Ooh.
And have like 2 characters from each movie as like the characters you can play as, and then
that's cool.
Try and figure out who it is.
Dude, I like it. Do you do the characters or the killers?
You could do the killers from each movie, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that
a lot.
But I would prefer it just be Scream 1. It's Stu's house. You have all the characters from, because I think there's 6 characters in Clue, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. I play this all the time because you could do the big 3: Sydney, Dewey, Gail, Tatum, Billy. Did I already say Billy?
No.
Stu. That'd be 6, right?
What about Randy?
Oh, you gotta get rid of Tatum. Randy. You gotta have Randy.
Yeah.
Tatum could be like the like person on the board who's like the host of the not the host, but what's the word that I'm looking for?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm excited when you get to it.
I don't know.
Dude, I'm into that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. That's a good idea, dude.
Surprised
that is a very good idea.
It'd be cool if they did one for each movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd buy all of them.
Yeah.
I would. I'd buy all of them. I have the Game of Thrones Clue and the Game of Thrones Monopoly, and they're both double-sided, I think.
There's a Game of Thrones Clue?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yes.
Sick.
One side is Westeros, and the other side is where Danny is at for most of the series.
Yeah, I have Game of Thrones Risk.
That'd be sick.
I've played it once, and I like paid fucking $100 for it.
I'd play that with you. Don't sell that one. I know you're selling all your board
It's fucking
games.
sick, man.
If you're selling that, let me know. I'll buy it.
All right.
He's selling his Monopoly games on eBay. Go check him out.
What are you selling? Anything good?
Well, I only have 2 up there right now. The South Park
No.
and some like Monopoly Empire. I also have the Walking Dead Monopoly.
You have the Walking Dead Monopoly?
Yeah.
How much you want for it?
$150.
Yeah.
American.
I'm not going to give you $150 for it. I
I
haven't even
have it right here. I'll grab it.
look. He's about to sell this Monopoly game. Fucking doom, dude.
Live recording of this sale. Right
Do they
now.
not make this anymore? Why is he getting rid of it?
I don't know.
You know, I love The Walking Dead. I can't wait for this last season, dude.
Eh.
The last part of it.
I'm over it.
Wait, there's somebody selling it on eBay for $29.99. Is that you?
No, I don't think so.
There's one for $9.99 on here.
There it is.
Okay, this is the one. $14.99. Is that you?
Probably not.
He doesn't have that one up yet.
Oh. I thought you were selling it.
I am. It's a long process to fucking take all the pictures of all the shit.
Why do you just take a picture of the cover?
Because you can't just do that, man.
No, nobody would buy it.
People need to know that it's complete and it has all the pieces.
Oh, I turned my Wi-Fi off. That's why it's on Amazon right now. How much do you think? Wow, it's $70 on Amazon.
American.
Damn.
It's America, Jack.
There you go, Brooke.
Dude, I would buy that. I would fucking play the shit out of that, dude.
Give him 60 American for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it used? Have you used it, or is it still in the wrapper?
No, it's used. I haven't played it in like probably 8 years, but
That's why you're getting $10 off, man.
Yeah, I don't know. You look kind of dirty too. Like I don't know that you take good care of it. Like there's probably fucking beer spilled all over it. You're probably exchanging sexual favors for rent. There's probably fucking jism chunks all over it.
Chunks.
Maybe.
Nasty.
I don't want that. The fucking dollar bills are all stuck together. Trying to play this with my kids. Like, Dad, why are the fives all stuck? I don't know, honey.
It's now a $10 bill. Leave it alone.
Just great. Just stick them together. It's
Yeah, that's the Walking Dead Monopoly. Imagine fucking Playboy Monopoly. Wouldn't be able to open the box.
I'm into that. I'm into that big time.
Oh man,
I think there is a Playboy Monopoly.
There has to be.
probably.
I would assume so.
All right, one last thing I want to say about the movie is all like the references and homages to other horror movies. It doesn't feel like a lot. Like there's a lot of references and stuff, but it doesn't feel like overbearing, right?
Mm.
They kind of spaced out nicely and very like minute, like little kind of references that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's also so well written that you don't catch that they're doing it. And there's ones you don't catch that you figure out later, or maybe if you watch more horror movies. Because again, when I first watched, I didn't know a lot about horror movies, right? The more you watch, then I think when you watch this and you catch on to those references that they're making, because I think they're very subtle.
My favorite one is when Jamie Kennedy's in the house by himself and he's watching Halloween and he's saying, "Turn around, Jamie, turn around."
Yeah.
And then Ghostface comes up behind him and he's still yelling at Jamie Lee Curtis on the screen to turn around.
That's good.
And his real name's Jamie Kennedy. I just think it's so cool how they did that.
That whole scene is awesome because they used the score from the Halloween movie.
Yeah.
So the score for Scream during those scenes is the Halloween movie, which is genius to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have the Don't Fear the Reaper playing during the first like meetup with Sid and Billy.
Yeah. Like the slow version of it.
Yeah, the acoustic version. Yeah.
So, I mean, it gives it away right there who the killer is.
Yeah. Do you think they wrote that scene with Jamie Kennedy after casting him? Or like, do you think they cast him to have that in it?
I feel like that was like an afterthought. Like after they casted him. Like they may have had that scene, but like I feel like they added that into it.
Yeah,
I feel like Kenny's kind of an idiot, right?
The cameraman?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's stupid the whole time.
Because he's in there with Sydney and they're like, he's like, "Hey, kid, watch out." And he's like, "Oh shit, there's a 30-second delay, so I better leave this secure van."
That's very true.
I think Ghostface could have killed Randy in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's why I wonder if he was ever going to really kill him. Like, I get that he gets distracted because you see it on the camera. At the same time, it's like he had plenty of time to at least stab him. But
you guys keep going. I gotta go take a piss.
He's going to take a leak, dog.
Alrighty then.
Gotta go pee pee.
That's fine. I had to stop cats from killing each other in the garage, so that's all right. Which so my favorite reference is and I want to get your take on this, is the first scene where Billy crawls through Sydney's window and he's like, "Yeah, I was watching The Exorcist and it got me thinking about you." Like at that point, wouldn't you be like, "That's weird"?
I don't think I caught on to that one.
Yeah, he's like, I was sitting at home watching The Exorcist and it got me thinking about us. And she was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, because, it was edited for TV and our relationship, we started off hot and heavy and now we're kind of edited."
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm thinking like, wouldn't she think that's fucking a weird thing to say?
Yeah. Very weird.
Like, I was watching The Exorcist, like,
I do like how they have, how they wrote Sid's character. Like this whole movie is based on like their own movie and the horror movie. And our main character fucking hates horror movies, like the first phone conversation. He's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And she's like, "I don't watch that shit."
Exactly. And then gives the reasons why. And not 2 seconds later, she's the one doing what she said is stupid in a movie.
Yeah. And then at the end, what's the line that I know she says, like, that's not in my movie, but like whatever the lead up is to that.
Oh, I don't.
I think Stu says like there's got to be a sequel or something like that.
That's right. There's got to be a sequel.
Yeah. Then Sid says, "Oh, not in my movie."
No, it's Randy. Randy says that this is where the killer comes back for the final kill or whatever. And I think
Yeah,
it's
you're
not in my
right.
movie and shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
But hey, Mark. So just a quick question, real quick. If you were hanging out and your girlfriend just sneaks through your window and she's like, "Hey, I was at home watching The Exorcist," and
It made me think about us.
got to thinking about us. Wouldn't you think that was kind of weird?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay, Billy.
But the way he plays it off is that it's the edited version for TV, right?
That's what we were talking about. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of a red flag. So here's something about this movie that I don't say it bothers me because I think I'm not a huge Wes Craven fan outside of the Scream franchise. You guys know my feelings on the Elm Street movies. Do you think that again, Kevin Williamson wrote this, he was an up and coming, he was banger after banger, let's be honest, with what he was able to do after this movie, but Dawson's Creek started a lot of that. Is it safe to say that this is a Kevin Williamson movie, even though everybody considers it a Wes Craven movie?
It's a bold take, but I mean,
I think to the average moviegoer, they would say it's Wes Craven. They probably don't even know who Kevin Williamson is, right?
Yeah. But yeah, like without the script and the direction that this movie went, I don't think it takes off as much as it did.
Right. And I think again, I love this movie. It scared the shit out of me as a kid. But like I kind of talked about earlier, the older I get, the different roles I see myself in this movie and why it bothers me at different levels. But at the same time, in doing this podcast and getting to know more people that love horror movies and having these conversations, like I look at the story within a story within a story, sometimes within a story that this movie is, right? Which I kind of talked about this with Tawny, so I'm kind of repeating that, but it's like this isn't like you read the synopsis and I kind of played it off and I just said, yeah, that's what they want you to think. But at the same time, like there's so many layers to the story from your typical slasher movie of, hey, okay, there's this ghost face character killing these people. However, on the anniversary of Maureen Prescott's death, where she was raped and murdered, that's Sydney's mom. But you just have all of these. Then Sydney's dad goes missing. You have like all these storylines interwoven throughout this movie, but at the heart of it, it's a whodunit movie. So like they could have just taken one of those storylines and ran with it. But in my opinion, the genius of this movie is the fact they were able. Kevin Williamson was able to intertwine all of these different storylines like flawlessly.
And yeah, I guess, yeah. And realistically, like looking at Wes Craven's movies, like obviously he's like one of the godfathers of horror and slasher and everything, but like all of his other movies that he's directed are just bare bones slasher movies, right? Like obviously we have like A Nightmare on Elm Street where he implemented the whole like dream thing to it, which is obviously different, but there's not a lot of like intricate storytelling in any of his other movies.
Totally agree. Like he said, he did Hills Have Eyes, correct?
Yeah, the original.
So Hills Have Eyes. Yes, you've got Last House on the Left. Again, great movies in their own right, but they're not this. Imagine if Kevin Williamson had helped or had some part in writing A Nightmare on. I know you guys are prone to that movie, but in my opinion, it's like, wow, what could you have done with that storyline?
Yeah, you could argue this kind of same thing with A Nightmare on Elm Street and like Hills Have Eyes. Like Hills Have Eyes, people probably remember Michael Berryman from that more than Craven. And same with Nightmare on Elm Street. People remember Robert Englund more than Wes Craven. Not trying to take away from Wes Craven at all, but
That's all valid points, though.
No, absolutely. I think the Freddy character is what made that franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like with Scream, to kind of answer your question, with only one of these people, I don't think it would have been the same.
No.
If it was only Kevin Williamson, a different director, it wouldn't be the same. If it was Wes Craven and
different writer,
some other writer, would not have been the same at all.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree. And I think Tawny brought this up. She said that I guess Kevin Williamson had floated the script to several other directors, and I guess they were on board to do it, but he was like, they don't get it. Like they're not getting it. Like they think it's a comedy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I see it that way, but it just sometimes when people start talking about like, oh yeah, Wes Craven Scream, and I'm like, man, I don't know. You better throw some Kevin Williamson in on that because like
he deserves major recognition for this.
The genius behind this movie, in my opinion, is the storytelling of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you have Wes Craven, who I think Wes Craven is a really good actor director. I think he's really good at getting great performances out of people. For instance, he's taken people that we didn't know. I think Brooke, you brought this up earlier that the cast is pretty much we're pretty much up and comers, and look at the performances he got out of every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's really his strong suit. He gets you to buy in, right?
Yeah.
And there's even the cameo from Wes Craven himself.
Yeah.
Freddie the janitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't really have anything else on the movie, I don't think. Anything else you guys had?
If I have a question.
Yeah.
If you were to watch this movie for the first time now, who would be your front runner as the killer? Like, who would you think is the killer?
Knowing what I know now about movies, and if I had never seen this particular one, correct?
Yeah. Or like, let's just say that this movie came out in 2022 rather than 1996. Like, this is a brand new movie. You just got out of the movie theater, or you're going into the movie theater. You're watching it. Who do you think is the killer?
I think Billy Loomis is so painfully obvious that I would hope that I would figure it out, but I don't know.
I think as a 2022 movie, we would have gotten some fucking garbage piece of shit where it was all in Sydney's goddamn head. She had some, after her mother died, she thought of all this shit in her mind and she was the crazy one. That's what we would have gotten in 2022.
Turns into a psychological thriller.
Yeah. What did they call it? What did they call it in Five Cream?
Elevated horror.
Exactly. Yeah.
They made that movie for me. I'm the guy that's on here bitching about those movies all the time. Like it's like they're like, hey, but I'll tell you what, dude. I still to this day, and once they're done making the new Scream, I don't know if they wrote it as a trilogy or what, but however many they're coming out with, I still think there is a bigger end game than the two people that were the killers in Scream 5. I think that's going to lead to other things, but I told you I didn't like Scream 5 when I first watched it because I was stupid and tried to outthink myself. Knowing who the killers were and then going back and watching, I thoroughly enjoyed it and love it. And it's one of my favorite Scream movies. It may end up being, I said this about 4 too, that it may end up being my favorite Scream movie. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like I would probably in 2022 probably outthink myself and not pick Billy because it's so painfully obvious that he's the killer. I think I would probably talk myself out of it the same way I did with Scream 5 when I was trying to figure out who the killers were.
Mm-hmm.
See, I would almost think Randy. Just like one of the least expecting characters. He's got all this horror knowledge. Like you wouldn't expect realistically, he's a movie nerd.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't expect him.
You would kind of though, because he's obsessed with Sydney.
That's true, actually.
And he even says at one point, which just plays back into the writing and the storytelling of this movie, he says to Stu, he's like, well, hey, now that Billy's out of the picture, you would date me. It's like, okay, so did you do all of this just to get Billy out of the picture so you could date Sid?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or I might have thought it was like no one in that we've seen in the movie. Like maybe it was this
stepbrother she didn't even know she had. Maureen picked her over him, and then he came back to haunt Sydney and kill her. Like, you think they might do something that fucking stupid?
I feel like I've seen this before.
Hmm.
All right, so we know our your thoughts on one of the movies.
I still give that movie like a 4.5, 4.9.
Or we could like flip the script and make it Dewey like they do in Scary Movie.
And he's like actually very sexy and smart.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are they going?
Man, I hope they release Scream 2 in theaters this October.
That'd be cool.
What? Oh,
well, because they did Scream last year, right?
For the 25-year anniversary.
Dude, Abby and I went to that, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I went
so
too,
sick.
and I brought Bettina, and she's never seen Scream before, so that was fun.
And you're still with her.
Got to bring her to this. Actually, we did a watch through of the whole series. Actually,
You're a saint.
What?
And
Fucking great.
What'd she think?
After Scream 5, she's just like, it's fucking Dewey. He's still the killer. That's like her running joke in the movie. It's like, oh, it's Dewey.
See, there you go.
Dude,
She's
that
just
movie,
joking, but
She watched Scary Movie too many times.
that's great. That is painful to watch for me still.
Scary Movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, have you guys watched Scary Movie lately?
No.
Yeah.
I did actually.
Yeah, I did rewatch it. Yeah.
Did not age well.
No, it didn't.
No.
No.
It's still fucking funny as hell, though.
You could not release that today.
No, Jesus
Definitely
Christ,
not.
no.
Definitely not.
No, you know what I'm talking about. It breaks my heart. The funny thing is, like, my mom knows how much I love this series and that particular character, and like it came out because it was on Peacock finally.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom does not like horror movies. They scare her. She does not like to watch them. She's like, we should watch that Dewey scene, and I'm like, come on, Mom. She's like, I want to see what happens to Dewey. I'm like, all right. The whole time she's like, and like she's never even scared, like Scream. I almost said Scary Movie, but just knowing how much that character means to me, her watching it, she was also heartbroken. But
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else?
no, I don't have
think so.
anything.
All
I
right.
haven't got anything either.
Cool. Well, Brooke.
That's the way the blood splatters.
Getting tired of having to remind you of this shit.
I was making sure you're all done. Okay, come on.
Consider it, Brooke. I got to tell you though, Erica from the horror cafe, right? I got that right?
Yeah.
Man, you had her nervous to do that, dude. Like she was like worried because you're so good at it and like it's your thing. She was like, I could tell in her voice. She was nervous. Like you had her shook. Dude. You had her shook.
No, she did a good job.
She did a great job. Great job. Go ahead.
She asked me beforehand. She goes, so like, what are we gonna do with that? I was like, you can say it if you want. Can I really? I was like, yeah, it's fine.
She's excited. She carried that podcast, so I better back her.
She did, man. She did. She did a great job.
Yeah, it's a fucking terrible movie too. Brooke, I understand why you took the week off just so you'd have to do that movie.
I did that movie because he took the week off.
Sure you did.
Because I said I know how much Brooke hates this movie, so I don't want to put him through another rewatch of it.
I was a little upset with you though, Mark, just so you know.
Why is that?
Because you didn't even make mention that our text thread is titled "The Lodge is a shitty movie."
That's true. I never even thought of that.
I listened to that episode. You know I hate that movie. I hate it with a pad. It makes my body hurt thinking about that I sat through that movie. And I'm like, I'm going to listen to this episode, one, because I like Mark, and Erica's coming on to do a cocktails episode soon, so I want to listen to her. And then I was like, and I want to hear him make fun of me and Brooke because that is the title of our text thread. And then it never even came up.
Well, now the cat's out of the bag. Our text thread is "The Lodge is a shitty movie."
And it is.
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
Only the most important people.
Yep.
Josh and I.
Fuck. All right, let's review this movie. Josh, as our guest, we already know what your answers are going to be, but go ahead and give us your reviews.
All right. Story first, correct?
Yeah,
It's almost like I just asked you this.
I know, right?
All right. So I already kind of went into my story thoughts. Like it's a story within a story within a story, but at its heart, it's a whodunit, which are my favorite kind of movies. I also think that we didn't even talk about this, which is crazy. The trajectory that horror was on before this movie came out, the places that this movie took horror, because you've seen it impact, and everything that came after it basically tried to redo it. But the thing that I always said that they should hang their hat on is Halloween is arguably, it is from a monetary standpoint, but arguably the biggest horror franchise, correct? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Scream was so impactful that they changed one of the Halloween movies, Halloween H2O, and tried to make it a Scream movie. Like that movie is so Scream heavy that speaks volumes to me. But I it's no secret, I gave the story a 10 out of 10. I think it's flawless.
Sorry to cut you off there, but like I haven't seen Halloween H2O, but isn't the Halloween H2O movie poster like almost exactly the same as that one behind you?
Yep.
It's very, very close. The writing, Kevin Williamson was brought in as like he didn't write the script, but they brought him in to help with the script of Halloween H2O.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that Scream came out and impacted the Halloween franchise. Granted, the Halloween before that was the 1995 freaking Paul Rudd Halloween, so they only had up to go from there.
But it's crazy. Like I feel like still nobody really talks about Scream all that much. Like there's a few accounts on Instagram that love it, but like some of the movie reviewers I watch and people on TikTok, like
there's the
like not
H2O.
many people. Yeah.
I mean, that H2O poster could be, you could put Scream at the bottom of that and change out and it would look
Literally.
just like, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much identical.
What's the urban legend poster? It probably looks just like that. And I bet you, I know what you did last summer poster. Everything looked just like that. Everything wanted to be Scream.
Well, everything back then had the fucking floating head posters, right?
Yeah.
Like they're all the same, right?
Actually, I just put in urban legend, and both those movie posters that you mentioned are right here on the screen. So I know you did last summer is right there, or that's I still know you did last summer, but an urban legend. But
yeah,
still, pretty similar. Not super similar, but
in the same vein, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Quality. I do quality next, right?
Yep.
Again, the thing for me is that this movie still holds up. I know you can watch it and you can make fun of their outfits, and some of the things they say are very 90s. Seth loves to make fun of their outfits because they're painfully 90s. However, from a quality standpoint, the kills are great. The jump scares are great. That gutting scene of Steve in the beginning, I still think it looks good. You could argue maybe you don't think so, but that's fine. But I think, in all honesty, I think it's because they did a lot of this. Most of this, I would imagine, is practical effects, which I think hold up longer anyway. Versus like the CGI fest stuff we kind of get today. But I don't know. The scares are great. I think that because they did a lot of it practically, that it holds up. But there's also not a ton of gore in this movie when you think about it. Like, there's like gutting scene. It's the Drew Barrymore being hung up, but they do a really good job of showing you that and panning away from it. Well, they actually pan into it, I think, but like you don't see a lot of it, right?
It's very quick. Like,
yes, that's why the other thing for this is like a lot of horror movies, like let's just say Saw, for instance, people they get a bad rap because they're so gory and bloody. When in fact, the scary part of this is that could really happen. This probably has happened, and the fact that like they didn't rely on those effects and the blood to be scary. It was a very story-driven movie. But anyway, the quality, I also gave it a 10 out of 10 because I think it's perfect.
Nice.
Very long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
That's good. What about you, Brooke?
All right. So I didn't do any write-ups for them because I knew we would talk for 2 hours about everything. So for story, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I don't even know what else to add. Like just the writing we've talked about is fantastic. The characters, every single character I like Tatum, like she doesn't have that much to her character, but she still feels involved in the movie. You kind of feel bad for her when she gets killed, but like not really. But yeah, I don't know what else to add, but 10 out of 10 for that. And then quality gave it 10 out of 10 as well. Obviously, this is like a perfect movie to me. The acting is fantastic. Like we mentioned, like these are all just up and coming actors. Even like Drew Barrymore, like she was in ET when she was a little girl, and like I don't know if she was in much between that and this, but this was like the trajectory for all these actors, and I thought they all did a great job. The score is really good, a lot of homages to old movies. So 10 out of 10 for story and quality.
Yeah.
And then I got to add as well on my Letterboxd, I've had the same 4 favorite movies since I got Letterboxd 2 years ago. And I swapped out one of them for Scream. So yeah, the other one I swapped out was a newer age horror movie that I think it's not the same type of movie, but I feel like it's the first successful movie of this type, which is Cabin in the Woods. I think has just captured that feel of homage and executed really well, and the story is very different and just like one of a kind movies. So yeah, swapped out Cabin in the Woods from this one because yeah, this one is just perfect.
Nice. All right, I'm hopping on the bandwagon. 10 out of 10 for both story and quality. I also didn't do write-ups because I mean, like there's only so much that you can say that people haven't already heard. Like, one big thing for me is the soundtrack for this movie as well. Like, it's music that we grew up with, and I think that helps bring back the nostalgia feel to it too. Like there's just so many songs in this soundtrack that's amazing and brings you back to that time whenever you first watched it. But yeah, like the acting, the gore, the kills, the creativity in the movie, the way that the storyline goes and how it's interwoven through everything. There's no reason why, or there's no reason that I can think of why I wouldn't give this a perfect score.
Yeah.
Like even before, like my Letterboxd, I used to have this at a 4.5, and I changed that after this watch. And I was just like, why? Like, what didn't I like about this movie that I had to drop it down to half a star? And I couldn't think of anything. So it's a 5-star movie, 10 out of 10 all around. There's nothing that I can say that I don't like about it.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, dog. All right. You guys know our scores. Let's head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and see what those fucks scored it. I know Josh hates them. Hey?
I do hate them, yes.
The critics' consensus. Horror icon Wes Craven's submersive deconstruction of the genre is sly, witty, and surprisingly effective as a slasher film itself, even if it's a little too cheeky for some.
Wes Craven's.
I knew you were going to have a comment about that. Based on that consensus, Josh, what do you think the critics scored this movie?
Let me think. 88.
Whew.
Wow, I was gonna go higher.
Were you? What were you going to say?
93.
All right, you're both going to be pissed. 79% on 82 ratings and an average score of 7.2 out of 5. Or out of 10. Out of 10, sorry. 7.2 out of 5.
I was say, oh, that's Canadian math. Eh?
Oh man. What about the audience? What the audience give it?
This is the real shit kicker, man. Also 79%. on 250,000 ratings and an average score of 3.9 out of 5 or a 7.8 out of 10.
Well, this is just proof that there are some very unintelligent people out there.
I agree.
Did I ever tell you about the time, and I'm not going to go into this whole story because it's very long, but that I got called a fuck boy at a bar one night because I said my favorite movie was Scream?
I need to hear this story.
Okay. You know me, I'm all about the stories. So I was out traveling and I took some customers out, and afterward, it was in the COVID era, so there were not a lot of bars open. And they're like the only, we had dinner at a steakhouse, we had some drinks at the bar upstairs, and they're like the only bar open right now is this place, and it's like a college bar. And I'm like, you know me and the youngsters, we don't really get along that well because I think I'm smarter than them and they think they're smarter than me, and that's fine. However, I was like, all right, fuck it. So we go over there, we grab some drinks. Okay, this place is like packed, dude, but the front, okay? The whole place in COVID era, right? But the front. There's like a table with these two girls sitting at this table. So we're like, we'll go over there, and there was 4 of us. We'll sit at the table because there was 2 of them, and they'll probably leave because we're old, right? So we go sit down, and we're drinking. I drink my Millers. Everybody's drinking their stuff, and they're like, "What are you guys in town for?" And I'm like, I tell her. And she's like, I'm a movie major at the local, at the college. It's a big college, at the college at the city. And she's like, I'm like, oh, it's awesome. I love movies. She's like, what's your favorite movie? And I was like, Scream. I think it's the greatest movie of all time. And she was like, I know a lot of people that like the movie Scream, and they're all fuck boys. Are you a fuck boy?
Oh my God.
I said, no, but I'm done drinking. And I left. That's the story.
You didn't go off on like the big Goodwill Hunting tangent on why it's the greatest movie and then come back later and say, how do you like them apples?
I don't, because here's why, Mark. When you argue with an idiot from a distance, people don't know who the idiot is.
That's true. I hope she's listening.
I hope she is not. You know what, though? She was young, and you know what? Young people you just got to learn.
She probably wasn't even born when Scream came out.
You know, now that I sit here thinking about it, she probably was not. But it's okay. You just got to be kind to people, Mark. There's no reason to be rude to people like that. It's just it doesn't help anybody.
That's true.
Yeah, Mark.
I'm surprised that you're the one that got up and left.
I did. I had enough, but I also drank a lot, so I'm like, this isn't going anywhere productive. That was the end of my night.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Brooke, what's Letterboxd got for us?
All right. So Letterboxd is slightly better than the average of Rotten Tomatoes. It is a 4 out of 5. And I didn't write down everyone. Our good boy Chuck gave it a 5 out of 5. Let's see. I didn't write them down.
Anthony gave it a 5 out of 5, I believe.
Tawny gave it a 3.5.
But she missed the boat with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Anthony, probably 5 out of 5. Yeah, 5 out of 5. Josh, 5 out of 5. Jensen, 4.5 from Fright Crew. And I think that's all I can see right now.
There's a lot of people.
Nathan from I Hope You Suffer podcast gave it a 3 out of 5.
I hope he suffers.
Slash and Captain gave it a 4.5. Yeah. And Scream is, I think, number 27 on Letterboxd top horror movies.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
Do you want to take a guess as to what the top 5 is?
I don't want to get angry tonight, so I don't really want to. But I remember the last time I looked, like Get Out and Us were like 1 and 2.
No, that's IMDb. This is Letterboxd.
Oh, Letterboxd. I got you. Okay. Is it going to be something that's going to piss me off?
Well, you already said one of them, so.
Oh, so it is Get Out.
Number 5 is Get Out.
It's fucking wild. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Number
Mark
1
probably knows.
Psycho.
Number 2.
Hereditary.
Nope. It is 29.
Hereditary is 29, and they have Get Out at 5. Cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna look it up, but I want to be surprised here.
Halloween has to be on there.
Not top 5. It's actually pretty fucking low, to be honest. It's number 57.
Damn. So Get Out is 5, Psycho is 2.
Yeah, to give you an idea of Letterboxd, Nope is already number 50.
I'm about halfway through that. I need to finish it.
Yeah. They're very old movies.
Is House one of them?
No.
The Japanese House?
No.
I think I know what the number 1 is.
What?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
You're incorrect. It's actually 3 from Hell.
Oh, good. I love that movie. I think I had a really great discussion with 2 Canadian guys on that movie, didn't I?
Yeah.
Number 1 is a movie that the HMC covered, and
Josh's gonna
I'm pretty
hate
sure
this.
Josh hated it. So
They all hated it.
yeah.
We covered it, and we all. Oh, fuck! Is it Hellraiser?
Nope.
The platform.
Nope. No.
Killer Condom.
Not that bad.
We all hated it. What is it? Give it to me.
It's
The
a very
Thing.
The Thing. Yeah, that fucking
Yeah.
shitty John Carpenter movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 3 is Alien, and 4 is The Shining.
Ugh.
I don't agree that The Thing is the number 1 horror movie of all time. Like that's blasphemous.
Yeah.
I think it's a great movie, but number 1 all time, that's crazy.
Where is it?
Chapter 1.
Yeah. Do we even need to talk about chapter 2? I mean, come on.
It might not even be on here.
That's sad.
Yeah, honestly, it might not.
It's a lot of old horror movies that are on this list.
Mm. You know, It is the highest rated HMC movie.
Yeah.
I believe it.
It's the only one that got all 5s.
I don't understand how Climax is on this fucking list, man. That movie sucks ass.
I gotta watch that actually.
Fucking brutal. Us is 148.
Yeah, I haven't found it yet.
I don't think it's on here. Green Room's 162. Lost Boys is 168. That's got to be higher.
Is Rob Zombie's Halloween on there?
No.
Well, that's just a tragedy there.
You knew the answer to that.
I already knew.
Mandy is 213.
Yeah, it isn't on there.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I don't understand how Sunshine is on this list.
Bodies is 244.
Holy shit.
I
Creep Show.
actually liked Bodies.
Yeah, me too.
Had a weird twist at the end I did not see coming,
Shh.
but that's fine. All right, what are we doing? What do we got here?
Yeah, what's next? Scare rating. You guys ready for the scare section?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lost our spot. All right, Josh. All right, Josh, as our guest, what did you give this for a scare rating?
All right, the movie scared the shit out of me as a kid. The premise is amazing, and at the time it was groundbreaking, but it also introduced me to horror, and I think it's absolute. Like, put yourself in those shoes at that time with the technology they had, because honestly, Scream has done a great job of incorporating technology and making it scary. I understand now in 2022 that a cellular phone making a prank call is probably not that scary, but back then it was. And again, it just scared the shit out of me. And I think the Ghostface outfit, even though it's very simple, is fucking. If you saw that, it would scare you. You could say it wouldn't, but I know you're lying. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because I am a fuck boy.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What's your scariest scene?
How do you have to pick the opening scene? How do you talk about Scream and not pick the opening scene? Everything about that scene is fucking just great. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The first scene's terrifying.
Okay. Would you survive?
Yes, dude. I would team up with Billy and Stu.
They don't survive.
I would, because I'm the third guy. They don't know about me hanging out in the background. I'm like, yeah, do your thing, Ghosty.
Jesus Christ.
I killed Tatum.
There you go.
I killed Tate.
Fair enough.
All right, Brooke, what about you?
Scare rating, I gave a 2 out of 10. And that's like as of now. Like it's not that scary. The first scene is it's pretty scary with Casey. But I will like back what Josh said about like the prank calls, like back in like late 90s, early 2000s, like even like I was playing prank calls with my brother, like who's
No, he's freezing.
gonna fucking call you and you know, what?
So now you're freezing.
Oh shit. You always heard like the urban legends, you know, of like the fucking motorcycle gangs, like if they flash your lights and you flash them back, they'll come back and fucking kill you and all that shit. So
Yeah.
but I still give it a 2 out of 10. Scariest scene, I'll change it up and I'll say the scene with Tatum getting killed. But like just to be in her shoes, like, you know, she's grabbing some beers, having a good time, and then Ghostface is there and he's like, okay, Randy, like that's funny. Like they're Sydney's gonna get mad that you're dressed like that. And then like the whole like, oh, do you want to play Psycho Killer? And you're just like, yeah. And then like just slowly cuts her forearm. She's like, oh, what the fuck? And yeah, to be stuck in like the garage with him and that where Elena to go. Even though she like does kick Billy's ass, you know. I was surprised that Billy could take those fucking bottles to the nuts in the face. Holy shit.
And then still perform later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Good
true,
for him.
actually. Yeah. And then would I survive? I said yes. I would just be the weird emo kid in the background at the school, like you know. People didn't pay attention to, but you know, went on to be like a rocket scientist or some shit.
Ooh, I didn't know you were a rocket scientist, Brooke.
Yeah, man.
Wow,
Yeah.
really proud of yourself.
What are you doing here with us?
What about you, Mark?
I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. I gave the scare rating a 4 out of 10. I said the gore and the kills were really creative and great on screen. The Ghostface costume as a whole is pretty creepy, and that mask is fucking iconic. 2 killers and the characters on screen constantly being kept on their toes with suspense and never knowing who the killer is or where they will strike next. Scary scene. I'm sticking with what I had, and it's the same as what Josh had. The opening scene. If it's a first watch, you don't know what's coming, and Roger Jackson's voice is creepy as hell, and Steve's death is fucking brutal. Plus, like that whole scene with the parents too that we already talked about, like that shit hits you hard. Would I survive? I said if there was only one killer, I think I could, but the element of surprise with 2 of them really makes it a tough survival. You think you've survived one attack, but then there could be another one right around the corner. Which is kind of what happens with Sydney, right? Like she gets attacked at home, and then she gets attacked later on, and then she gets attacked later on again. So it's like it's constant, right?
She just can't get away from it, Mark.
I know. So yeah. All right. You guys ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready.
ready.
You guys were synchronized on that one.
Yes.
All right. So next up is Loomis's villain evaluation. We are changing it up a little bit for this series. We've changed some of the traits to kind of fit the bill a little bit better, given the fact that there's more than one killer in most of the movies, or all of them, I should say. So we've added brutality and creativity and drive/motive. And we've taken out some other categories. So we have brutality, creativity, agility, intelligence, drive, and charisma are our 6 categories. As always, if this is your first time listening to us or your first time listening to one of our villain face-offs, we take 2 movies. Normally it's just 2 villains that we kind of put up against each other, but in this one it's going to be a little bit different. Yeah, we average out our scores and then see who would come out victorious at the end of the 2nd episode. All right. Brooke, how about you go first for this one?
All right, then. Just spit in the face of our guest, then.
Yep. I heard he likes that.
I actually do.
All right, so I'm just sticking with my scores that I made before our big ass discussion. So I'm not changing anything. All right. So brutality, I gave it an 18 out of 30. There's nothing like insane about the kills except like the Tate kill was like pretty brutal. Actually, the Steve kill was pretty brutal because you actually saw a lot of guts and shit like that. But yeah, nothing crazy, kind of like above average, I'd say. Creativity, I'm guessing this was creativity of like kills, right?
Or like, yeah, like how they plan shit out. Just like their creative minds, I guess.
Okay. Well, I gave mine a 22 out of 30. I kind of did base it just off like the kills.
Okay.
Although, because I put most of the like other stuff in intelligence, but
Yeah.
I said like Tate's kill was like kind of like one of a kind, like Tatum's kills.
I looked right at Josh whenever you said that.
I know, I saw you guys fucking looking at each other. Tatum's kill was one of a kind, like kind of like the blender kill from next. Like
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna change my score.
Holy fuck. Okay.
Sorry.
I can't quit with the Tate, dude.
Oh, fuck that. 17 out of 30. Okay.
What? You
I just told
dropped
you.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going the other way with it.
So did I. Took me by surprise on that one.
Because like all the rest of the kill, like there's nothing creative about the rest of the kills in my mind, at least. Like it's all just either like shootings or stabbings. Intelligence, I gave a 21 out of 30. Now most of the intelligence, like it's ghost face, but really most of the intelligence is with Billy. Stu does kind of drop a lot of that intelligence because like for Billy to put all of this together, like I think in our discussion, I think his original idea was to kill Casey and Sydney. And then when that backfired, he had to come up with this whole other plan, like on the fly, really quickly. And it all worked for the most part, except for the very end. But yeah, so 21 out of 30 for intelligence. Agility, I
Ruh-roh. You might not be coming back from that one.
Just keep
said
it.
at 14 out of 30. You guys are both frozen.
So no, you were frozen.
And I was saying my internet connection is unstable. Okay, hold on. Did you guys hear anything I said?
I heard 14 for your agility.
Okay. So 14 out of 30.
Fuck's sakes.
I'm glad you're editing this and not me.
Man, it's gonna be a nightmare. What's going on with your internets tonight? Look at the look.
I said that you guys are both freezing.
Okay, let's pause for a second.
He looks like a psycho there.
He does.
Okay. We gotta stop distracting me. God damn, I'm never gonna get to this damn agility.
You keep fucking freezing.
You guys keep freezing. Oh my god.
And he's frozen again. Jesus fucking Christ.
The fucking Canadian internet you guys got.
Mine's fine.
God.
Is he back? No, he's not back.
Mine is because it wasn't hardlined in. Once I hardlined in, I was good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Thank you.
I don't know what's going on with his.
Okay, 14.
Oh my god. He tried to speed that out so quick. Oh my god.
He might have to phone in for the oh, there he went.
Oh, there he goes.
Damn, we look good, dude. Look at us.
Hey, big screen.
Hey. Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know
Hi.
what the fuck that was.
Dude.
There was one point where you came back really quick and you were like, okay, my agility is 14. And then it froze like right away.
Like, I don't know what's going on. I have full bars on my fucking internet, so I don't know.
That's fucked. All right, what's your agility?
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna close my letterbox. Maybe that's why it's slowing it up.
Oh,
yeah, definitely. Letterbox.
Totally.
Damn it. Totally lost my train of thought now. Thanks, guys.
My fault.
We were fine. We were having our own conversation over here.
I could hear you guys. That's making it worse. Okay.
Yeah.
To add on to my agility, like Stu kind of does take that down a bit just because he's so fucking mopey and shit.
Mhm.
For drive / motive, I give a 16 out of 30. At one point, Billy does say that he like has no motive, but then he does say like the whole like, oh, your mom is a slut and she fucked my dad and is the reason why that my mom left or whatever. But Stu doesn't have a motive at all, really, right? So that kind of brings it down a lot. And then charisma, I give a 25 out of 30. All the charisma goes to Stu. I mean, that final scene and like the video store scene, just fucking amazing. I could watch that day after day. Billy, like, he does a good job, but he's not as charismatic as Stu is. So yeah.
I'm glad we finally got through that.
Holy shit.
You had me on the edge of my seat. I feel like I was at a monster truck rally, dude.
Fuck. All right, Josh, lay it on us.
All right, you guys probably already know all my picks, but all right. So for brutality, I think the Casey Becker scene is gruesome. The way they kill Steve and they gut him is ridiculous. I also think it's pretty freaking brutal that they hung their principal from the freaking goalpost. Like, how many of us haven't wanted to do that? Let's be honest. You know,
That is pretty fucked up now that you say that. Yeah.
okay. And then you look at their willingness to stab each other just to get through their whole storyline. Like that's pretty freaking brutal. Just it's one thing to stab somebody else, but to know you're going to get stabbed, that seems pretty crazy to me. And then the other thing is their willingness to kill their girlfriends.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty freaking brutal. I gave it a 25 out of 30 for brutality.
Quick question.
Sure.
How long do you think that Billy and Sydney have been dating?
It was
I'd say like 6 months.
No, it was before the mom, I thought. Because I thought once her mom died is when she stopped like putting out.
I don't think she ever put out. She was always a virgin.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, like, she said we can do some on top of the clothes stuff, but he had said they started off hot and heavy, which leads me to believe that they were doing other stuff.
That's true.
And then after her mom died is when she stopped doing that, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That makes sense.
Her mom was raped too, right? So like that's got to make you.
Well, I don't think she was raped.
I thought she was.
She had sex willingly with Cotton, and then those guys framed Cotton.
True.
I think she hooked up with Cotton, and then Billy killed her.
Yeah,
I don't think Billy raped her.
That's fair.
No.
Okay. Creativity. Let's be honest. You don't have any other ghost faces without these two, so you have to give them some sort of additional points because they came up with everything, right? Without their creative mind, you wouldn't have it. I think they invented that whole cat and mouse game in horror genres, in my opinion, where they're playing with the person on the other end of the phone, which I also think is very creative. And I also think when you look at it, like I kind of brought up earlier, when you think about Billy's conjuring up this entire story, this entire plot to make all this work. It's pretty damn creative. So I gave him a 30 out of 30 for creativity, which is drastically different than Brooks' 17.
Just tossing that one out there.
Like that's the problem with these. Like we kind of each like make good points, right? So like I probably would have changed mine, but it is what it is.
It's just different. Like I feel like with Halloween, Michael, originally Halloween, Michael's this crazy. You don't know what's driving him. He just kills people. Freddy haunts you in your dreams. That's pretty creative. But like with this entire movie is so creative because again, all the interwoven storylines, the fact that Billy conjured all of this up and came out. I think it's the whole movie is creative and different. I think it's why people were so attracted to it.
Yeah, because like by Scream 4, like they're kind of paying homage to the first guys, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Intelligence, I said Stu brings this one down for me, but Billy brings it back up. I think the biggest downfall for these guys in their intelligence is that they underestimated Sydney because Sydney is so smart and because she didn't buy into this horror movie bullshit like everybody else did is why she was able to beat it. So I gave him this is still really fucking high. I gave him a 25 out of 30 for intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason being is I had it lower and I brought it back up only because when I think about Billy's conjuring up this whole story, how to get out of this, and basically my gut tells me he was going to blame all of this on Stu, and all the groundwork laid was for him to be able to blame this on Stu, and I think that's pretty freaking smart. Agility is next, I believe. I mean, you kind of have to rate this high because they beat the fuck out of him and he just keeps coming back, dude. Like, look at all the shit that Ghostface takes and comes back from.
It's true.
I also think he switches locations very quickly and very quietly. I give him a 20 out of 30 for that. Drive and motive. Billy's drive and motive, in my opinion, are the best in the franchise. It's just the one that makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
And again, without this, you wouldn't have anything that follows. But I also think it's pretty realistic. Honestly, I think that somebody's mom cheating on their dad and leaving could drive somebody to do this. But again, without this original movie, you don't have the others. But I think out of all of them, this movie has the best drive and motive. So I had to give it 30 out of 30 because I think it can only go down from there with the other movies. Charisma. This is where, Brooke, I think we're going to really disagree because you said that Billy has no charisma.
I didn't say no charisma, but very little compared to Stu.
My very first line here is Billy is so charismatic and charming that even when he's revealed to be the killer, you're actually bummed out and sad that Billy's the killer because you actually like him and don't want him to be the killer. So I was like, when you said that, I was like, ow, man, I feel completely different. But then I also have Stu screams charisma. I think Stu's an amazing character and the opposite of Billy. And I think that's why they play off each other so well. And I think that's also why the movie is so great because you have those polar opposites that come together and make the Ghostface character great. So because they were both so charismatic, I gave it a 30 out of 30.
All right.
I think that's it.
Yep.
Clearly, you guys know who my favorite Ghostface is.
Billy's mom.
Billy's mom's in it?
Never mind. All right. For my brutality, I gave it a 26. I said I already mentioned Steve's death previously, but add that to the list of bodies sprawled out all over Woodsboro. They don't care how they kill people, just that they were killing them by any means necessary. It wasn't just their actions that were brutal. It was their complete ruthlessness when planning this whole thing out, kidnapping Sydney's dad, stabbing each other, getting all their stories straight. These guys are straight up psychopaths. Creativity, I gave it a 28. I said, as previously mentioned, they took their time planning this one. They framed Cotton, framed Sydney's dad, made it look like they got attacked themselves. Everything was crafted and planned out almost perfectly. They took the biggest horror tropes and created this elaborate plan to create the perfect crime. I do think that Billy is obviously like the main one coming up with everything, but they were a team regardless. Dexterity or agility, I gave it a 16. I said with there being two killers, it's a little harder to score this one because Stu is goofy and clumsy, but I feel Billy is more focused and likely more agile. But if you take one of them out of the mix, this rating changes for better or for worse, depending on who's removed from the equation. So I kind of like, one of you has mentioned that like they kind of balance each other out, whereas like Stu is more like calm and collected, or Billy is more calm and collected, where Stu is kind of like, what's the term?
He's kind of like a wild card.
Yeah, wild card. Yeah. Intelligence, I gave them a 23. I said, as dumb as Stu seems, he did have his part in creating this plan, and he can't disregard the fact that he knows his shit. Billy is clearly the mastermind, but the two of them together are actually really smart and know their like horror backgrounds, and we're able to kind of integrate that into their plan. Drive and motive, I give it a 12. I said Billy's motive is solid. Sid's mom slept with his dad, thus causing his mother to leave and abandon him. Not saying it's right, but you can understand his anger issues. And he did go a little bit overboard with it all. Stu, on the other hand, just got peer pressured into all of this while also having clear psychopathic tendencies. So Stu has no clear motive.
Yeah.
It's all Billy.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure, yeah. Charisma, I gave it a 28. I said they're both very likable people when they aren't in costume, especially Stu. No one ever thought that he was part of this until the very end. He's basically a puppy in human form, which I mentioned previously. But Billy has that brooding, like bad boy vibe to him that was really popular in the 90s. So he's very charismatic with the women. I'm sure like women in that time watching this movie thought he was like a fucking teenage heartthrob back then. People were very drawn to him, and although Sid was suspicious, he did make a whole town believe that he wasn't the killer for a small period of time. Like he got himself off the hook through all this. So yeah, some of our scores are similar and some of them are very different, but I've already averaged everything out.
Cool.
So for brutality, they average a 23 out of 30. For creativity, they average a 25 out of 30. For dexterity and agility, they average a 16.7. For intelligence, they average out to a 23. Drive and motive is a 16, and charisma is a 27.7. So this is gonna be a tough one to beat.
Yeah.
For Scream 2.
So you guys are gonna do all 5. I'm only doing the first 2. If any of them can beat this, which one do you think is going to be?
4.
Yeah. I was trying to think of like each killer from each one. Yeah. Definitely either 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, but 5's not going to be part of the Face Off, right? Because it's kind of its own lone movie right now.
No, but if we're talking like Scream, yeah,
I would say 4 or 5, but
I was going to say 4. I think 4 has the biggest potential to dethrone.
She was fucking nuts, dude.
I think she's great. I love that movie.
She's great, but she was fucking nuts.
And pretty decent motive.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
But not my problems. I'm not going to be on it, so I don't care. You guys have figured it out, not me.
It'd be interesting at the very end to compare them all and see what we come up with.
Yeah. I think I know what it would end up being, but
you think Scream takes it all?
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be interesting because we got a different guest for Scream 3 and 4. So
that's true. Chucky, did I just ruin that?
No.
Oh, okay. Chucky made Love 3.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone else on here might love 3 as well.
You? Really, eh?
I don't hate it. I love every one of these movies. I just love them in their own way. You know, it's
exactly. Yeah.
You really do have a favorite. You just can't tell them.
It's true. All right, guys, it's getting fucking late.
Yeah.
Brooke and I both have to work in the morning, Josh. I don't know about you, but
me too. I gotta hit the road. I'll be on the road before 8.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so let's wrap this shit up. As always, great episode, great discussion with you, Josh. Thank you again for agreeing to come on for these 2 episodes. We wouldn't have anyone else kick off Screaming September.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Josh. Always a pleasure.
I love it, guys. I'll come on for every episode. Just let me know when you need me. I'm here.
Yeah. We got some shit in the works too.
I'm excited.
Me too. All right. Do you want to plug your podcast one last time before we sign off?
Yeah, so I am 1/3 of the Horror Movie Crew podcast. We release episodes every week. We talk about a movie. Sometimes we just get together and drink and talk about what's going on in the horror movie community. But we have episodes every week. We're on every major podcast platform. We just launched the HMC Studios, which is a YouTube channel, which will include all of the Horror Movie podcast episodes in video form, because we can now do that nicely. It doesn't look like shit. So that'll be on there, as well as some new playlists and channel stuff we'll be adding to it, so we can kind of be more into with what's going on right now versus so reactive and months away. So watch that. Check us out on YouTube at HMC Studios or on any major podcast platform at the Horror Movie Crew podcast.
Fucking nailed it.
Very nice.
And we're funny. Don't forget that.
Yeah. Your comedy podcast disguised as a horror podcast.
That's right. That's it, dude. It really is.
Is that what your tagline used to be?
It still is if you go to the website, horrormoviecrew.com.
That's true. Do you ever use that website?
It's very few and far between. I don't know that websites are really predominant anymore, but it does capture everything. So if you want to know anything about us, go to horrormoviecrew.com. You can figure out where to download our episodes, how to get to the YouTube channel, how to buy merch. And there's also blogs and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Very nice.
All right. As for us, if you guys want to catch us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at A Podcast on Elm Street. If you click the link in our bio on Instagram, you'll find links to our TeePublic account where we have our merch. There's also a link to our Patreon account if you wish to support the podcast that way. There's also links to each of our individual Letterboxd accounts, which we showed earlier this evening. And there's a link to our Discord server and anywhere that you can listen to us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
See you later. You can say bye too, Josh.
Oh, hey. We're out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
There you go.
We're out of here. Bye.
Nice.